Praise God. Praise God. Take off your shoes.
Yeah, just take off your shoes right there. That's it. That's my earth right there.
Peace, how you doing? I appreciate the hospitality,
Yeah,
though. Peace,
God.
peace,
Sure
God.
indeed, God.
Peace, God.
Yeah, God. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel comfortable, like, you know what I'm saying? I said, yo, God, that God probably hungry, you know what I'm saying? Because my guests, I don't like to leave my guests, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, peace, peace,
Like
peace.
that, you know? So I said to myself, yeah, you know, the God, how you call it? The God, Lord Infinite, he been here, ABG. I said, yo, but the brothers that I met before, you know what I'm saying? I met him, haven't even come to my restaurant. I said, I needed God to come through so, you know,
Peace.
we could break some bread, you know what I'm saying? Smoke some equality, build on some blessings, go
Right,
through the
right.
120, you know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Or
right.
whatever other degree that you may be dealing with, or, you know, just talk about it in history in general, you know what I'm saying? I looking at all those pictures that I have there, and I see Moses there, original. I see Jesus there, original. Just of a sign that, you know, the prophets was all original. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right,
So,
right.
you know, it's still a little. Even though I teach every day, man, you know, it's not easy to awake the 85% of they, you know, because they've been brainwashed so much with the Jesus and Christianity. But I keep the mathematics here going. You know what I'm saying? Because that's embedded in my culture, just installed. So
You don't mind if I record? I do
no,
what I
true
do.
indeed, God. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do,
Right,
God. You
that's
know
what
what
I
I'm
do.
saying? That's why I say it's peace what you do. You see what I'm saying? Because it's nothing like documenting, you know what I'm saying, the history of a nation, God. You know what I'm saying? I was doing the document. You know, I got a YouTube channel myself, you
Right,
know.
I'm in tune. I'm subscribed to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, I got the brother, I went to the school because I really wanted to do the video of Allah, which I meant to do another part about that because we just basically not too much on that on the topic of our nation and about the law. I wanted to get more deep into it, like what year he was born, what year he went back to the essence. You know, he was in the military, the you know, the honors that he won in the Korean War, you know, and important stuff like that. You know, the first man to realize that the true and living God was Allah, and that first degree in student enrollment and stuff like that. So, you know, that's a more part of history to document that on. You know what I'm saying? It's more. It's much more than that goes to that. You know.
Right, right.
So what I just did. But a lot of views on that video, God. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And a lot of and I'm getting more subscribers too. But I don't really do it for the subscribers. I just do it just because it's just a natural thing of adding on, Lord. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for no fame or nothing like that or anything like that. I'm just, you know, I'm just doing my duty as a civilized person, like I be on Facebook every day. I'm posting my videos, you know what I'm saying? And making a knowledge born that way because the internet is a good vehicle
Right.
for us to, you know what I'm saying, to manifest reality on, you know?
But we gotta be careful with that too, though, God. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things on on social media and on the internet can get distorted. It has been distorted. So you know when people, I always try to make knowledge born to like my viewers or the audience that's watching these videos that I make. That you gotta be careful with this internet stuff. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like this is just really just to give you a spark.
right.
But at the end of the day, this is a living culture. This is the culture that lives and breathes, and we gotta come amongst each other. That's why I'm glad that you invited me over to your rest because we get to build in person as opposed to just building online or just, you know what I'm saying? Like
Or on the phone.
on the phone, right? It's a culture, God. It's a culture. Culture means a way of life. So So your way of life gotta extend way past just being on the internet.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
You know, a lot of people think that, you know what I'm saying, that they could get some lessons, right, and learn some degrees on the internet. Yeah, it's a good way of learning and stuff like that, you know, but you know, there's steps in this culture where you gotta go through, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta visit the school personally, because then you become like a mystery god. You see what I'm saying? You gotta make knowledge born so you can be known to the nation. And then besides that, before you even get the knowledge, you have to fast for 3 days. So, you know what I'm saying? That's a requirement, you know what I'm saying? Just to see where your mind is at in the wilderness of North America, God. You know what I'm saying? Because it's tough. We go through some hard times here, you know what I'm saying? And not just that, it's a challenge mentally. You know what I'm saying? Because you're used to eating every day.
Right.
So when you fast, your thoughts get, your thoughts get clearer.
Right.
You know, and you clean yourself from all, from unrighteousness, and it does good to the body as well, because fasting, is proven facts that, fasting have done good to the body. Even if you fast once a month, 3 days, that's very good. You know what I'm saying? Because you getting all the toxins out your body.
Well, you don't get all your toxins, but at least you begin on that journey of cleaning yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you think if you started fasting at, like, let's say maybe 21 years old, or uh, 25, whatever age you might have gotten knowledge at, 3 days is not going to it's not going to clear out
A whole bunch of
those,
years.
those 21, 20, the 25 is not going to clean out. So, but at least you start out on that journey of cleaning yourself out. And then, I was also taught that fasting is an exercise in mind power.
Right.
And mind power is God power.
True indeed.
You know what I'm saying? And you want to exercise that and, show and prove. Some people, they may say they fasted, but didn't really fast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that means you only cheated yourself.
Yeah, you only cheated. That's like going to school and cheating on a test. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't go through the real test. You know what I'm saying? The real journey. That was the most important out of everything. Because when I got knowledge of self, I didn't, mind like no. Or the person that gave me knowledge of self, you know what I'm saying, didn't tell me that I had a fast. I was in the penal institution, and then God went to my cell. This God named Justice Born he was from Fort Greene, and he told me, God, you gotta fast. So he made sure that I fast, God. You know what I'm saying? He was there every breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Every lunch, every dinner. You know what I'm saying? And until I did the 3 days. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
this is in the penitentiary.
yeah, see, 74, I was in Fort Lower. This was in 1985, you know what I'm saying? I got the whole 120, I kept asking the brother, you know what I'm saying, that I used to roll with. His name was Prince Shaheen, Great God Allah. That was the brother that gave me knowledge of self. So he sent me, my name in the mail, and then he sent me.
Oh, he sent it to you. This is through mail.
Yeah, he sent it through. He sent me a whole set. He sent me my name, because I kept asking him for a name, and he was telling, I'm thinking about a name for you, and I was like, I chose it myself, Sun God. So
you chose Sun God. Right.
Yeah,
You was originally asking
him, yeah, because since I met him, I knew that he had knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? His name was Prince Shaheem, and I met him in 82, but it wasn't up to 85, 3 years later. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like sort of like my crime partner and stuff like that. So, I kept asking him, give me knowledge of self, give me knowledge of self. And I'm thinking about a name for you. So I told him Sun God, because I was going in and out of the penitentiary when I was young. You see what I'm saying? So I got a set of 120 like that, my name. And I was just studying. And when I was at the mathematics, I'm going to offer him someone a little bit. I made knowledge born to the brother named Justice Born. I told him I got knowledge of self, and that's when he told me, yeah, where you want. So I was like about on my first degree in a 1 to 10. But what's funny about that, God, that after I did the fast, I got sentenced and I went to C-76. And I didn't really grasp no understanding on the lessons, God, and I got bombed.
How old were you?
I was like 17.
17.
Yeah, and I had a powerful name like that, Sun God.
And this is in Build Power.
Yeah, this is in Build Power. So, I had to go all the way back to my name, God, because I didn't have no understanding. I just was quoting the lessons. I was in the first degree in the student enrollment. I had to go all the way back to my name, because the guards bombed me over there in C-76 until I understood what this was about. You see what I'm saying? Because everything that you say out your mouth is subjected to be showed and proved. So I had to go back to the foundation, but I love it. You see what I'm saying? Because it just gave me a clearer, better understanding about the nation and what this is about. This is about showing and prove and living it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a lot of lip professors and a lot of lip professing in it. You know what I'm saying? But that's all well and good and dandy, I say, you know what I'm saying? But because you got to know how to quote the lessons, God, before anything. That's well and good, but it's not just about the quoting, it's about the living. And the most important thing is that I learned going to the law school. That's what I want to speak about now. What the nation has done for me. It has showed me to walk the righteous path. You know what I'm saying? And to apply Allah's mathematics. That's why I went to the foundation to get it right, God. You know what I'm saying? That school right there, 2122 in Harlem, that's a blessing to the universe and to all the brothers that's watching this right now, man. If you out there, visit the school, because that's a good direction where to go to. And also, just get you a wisdom, a good black woman, and you stay out of trouble, because a lot of brothers, when they meet a good wisdom, they do stay out of trouble, God. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers just don't have no sense of direction. They don't have nothing to do, and they don't know nothing no better. So, people that know, they use people. The older wicked ones, they use the younger ones to do the crime for them. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how it's set up here.
Well, I just want to add on with you. You know what I'm saying? Like talk about finding a good, wisdom or a good black woman. And that is very important. However, I would suggest to anybody doing analysis of this that they get themselves together first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Because knowledge is the foundation, right? And she is a reflection of you. So you gotta be on point first. Take care of get yourself right first. You know what I'm saying? Don't look for her to be the one who's gonna give you direction or good orderly direction, because that's not her place. Her place is to reflect you, right? So that's how I draw it up.
And and that's a very peace science. You see what I'm saying? I just tell them brothers, like, first it's true what the God's saying. First get to know yourself. Concentrate on yourself, because at the end of the day, in the neighborhood, what we want is respect, right? And you gotta first love yourself in order to love somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Because it was a lot of times here when I wasn't with no wisdom. You know what I'm saying? In a way, I was unhappy until I had to learn, God, that you got to learn how to love yourself first. You understand? If you don't love yourself, how you going to offer love, peace, and happiness to another individual if you don't get yourself right? So that's very important what the God added on to this cipher right now. Everything starts with self. S, self for savior.
Right.
First, you must know how to swim those 9,000 miles, or know you're going to drown. If you don't know how to swim, how you going to, you know what I mean? That's like teaching. You got to know how to teach. You got to know your math before you be able to teach, before you be able to save somebody else, because they are unaware of this culture.
Peace, God. Let me ask you, God, have you ever run into brothers who say, or when they build, they say that don't refer to the black woman as the wisdom?
Yeah, I got the older brother, like, Allah Shah said wisdom, you know what I'm saying, is the black woman. And he was like, wisdom is the black woman.
Who's that?
The older God, Shah. You know what I'm saying? He said, where you got that at? I said, that what my lesson say. You know what I'm saying? He said, it's symbolic to the black woman. It's not the black woman. So he had to clean me up on that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just a symbolic thing, you know what I'm saying? Just like the moon is symbolic to the woman, that's just symbolic like in our flag. You know what I'm saying? The star is symbolic to the child. You know what I'm saying? And then they also said that the sun is a star too. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, you know, so Father and the Son is alike. So, you know what I'm saying? Just like Father, just like Son. Knowledge and understanding is
one and the same.
One of the same. You know, the master, one who know and understand. So I look at that science like that, you know. Knowledge, understanding, born what? Culture, refinement. That's our way of life. You know what I'm saying? The way of life.
Culture, refinement?
Knowledge, understanding, born culture, refinement. I mean, culture freedom. Culture freedom, part and self.
Okay.
Culture freedom, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, because.
But that's good, God. You on point. You know what I'm saying? You on point.
Right. And I'm just, you know, doing the knowledge, you know. Again, because, you know, God, you know, in the comments, brothers will.
Correct you.
Brothers will come for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they will.
What's that? And then they, you know, and the fact that I'm building with you, and if I don't correct you or I don't ask you what you mean to clarify it, you know, they're gonna be in the comments. What you mean? And how you gonna let him say that? Like, you know what I mean? So
right.
You know,
yeah. So I brought those things from ABG, like.
That's peace.
You know, the flag with the alphabets. Over there, you got pictures of the Arkham and the Garsha. And then those pictures over there, that's, you know, Pedro Biso Campo. I don't know if you ever heard about him. He was like a black Malcolm X. He was just like teaching, you know what I'm saying? He was just like trying to liberate Puerto Rico from...
Like a Puerto Rican Malcolm X.
Like a Puerto Rican Malcolm X, yeah. He wanted Puerto Rico to be free from the United States because he seen the, you know, the abuse that the government was using. So he was the one that caused all of the cane worker fields to strike. So when he did that, they knew that he had power and they locked him up. You know what I'm saying? And his group was like really like throwing down the government when they went down to the capital of the United States, him and his group, and there was this lady named Lolita Nebron, and she bust a shot right there in front of the Capitol because they wanted, you know, for Puerto Rico to be independent. So that's what he was fighting for. So they wound up killing him in the penitentiary system, electrifying him.
Oh, wow. They executed him.
They executed him, you know, in his cell by radiation, by way of radiation. So, you know, after a few years where they felt that he wasn't no longer a threat, like, you know, like Al Capone in the 30s, that they figured he wasn't no threat no more because he caused syphilis and he was shocked like that with electricity, with radiation. They released him. And in 75, he died. He went back to the essence.
He died in 1975.
Yeah, a few years after he was released from the jail.
What's his name?
Pedro Biso Campos.
Pedro Biso Campos. Okay. So you just born in this science. To me, I'm not familiar with that history.
Yeah. And just like the man Arturo Schomburg.
Yeah, I know about Schomburg. You got the Schomburg Library right
there.
Yeah,
right.
Now I understand the power.
So I like to speak about him, right, because he was Puerto Rican and German. So what happened was that when he was in school, as far as what I read, you know, that he asked the teacher, yo, you know what I'm saying? There's history on white, there's history on Indians, you know, what about black people? So the teacher told him black people didn't have no history. So he couldn't bear with that thought that, you know what I'm saying? He knew that was a lie. So he just went all over and started researching. And
collecting artifacts and all that?
Yeah, started collecting all books and all the knowledge that he could get his hands on. And he had so many books that was the way that he built that library. That Schomburg Library, you know, because He said, nah, that's impossible for us not to have a history. You know what I'm saying? When he found out that we was the ones that created everything, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a shock. I got a book like that I brought from the parliament, from a law of mathematics, that it says black people invented everything. You know, I haven't read it yet, but I've been reading different books. I got a little library here, you know what I'm saying, where I go, you know, after studying 120, you know, actual facts and things in 120, I read. You know, and when I don't understand some words, I just pull my phone out with the Google. You know, it's much easier like when you used to study from before that used to have to be with a dictionary and look the word up. Now the Google would make it much easier. You just say the word or you just spell it out and it give you the meaning to it and everything. So it's much better like that, you know.
It's much easier, you know. But
Right.
you know, I think that a lot of people don't appreciate it, especially like the youth. You know what I'm saying? They have all this power and information within their hands,
Right.
and they don't really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So they wind up just playing like games on the phones and not even acknowledging you got. See, in my day, to show my age, right? Like I had to travel to go to the libraries. You know, talk about like the Schomburg Library, or I had to travel to the libraries. You know what I'm saying? Like and get the information and go through actual books and shelves and pages and pages and pages of information.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Whereas now, I don't have to do all that. I don't have to go to the library. You know what I mean? It would be because you can't find everything online, but it's it's good to have that that reference. But like I said, with me back in the days, I had to travel. But nowadays, kids they just type it in, and all that information comes up. But it's crazy that they don't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
I just was thinking about, remember the brother P Almighty 7?
Yes.
Okay, so I remember one time we was in the safe over there in the back of the school. Remember when I started first coming around? Because basically all my history is documented since the first day that I, you know what I'm saying,
Since you
started.
came to come to a law school.
Yeah, basically
But
it's.
you've been wait, let me rewind real quick. I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but so you got knowledge and built power, but you didn't get to the school until
The early, no, I was in the school. The first time I ever went to the law school here in Mecca was in 1987.
Okay.
When I came home, you know what I'm saying, from Green Correctional Facility, man. And, you know, back then I smiled, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, I said, yeah, my name is be intellectual, sun god, lover law, Dr. PhD. You know what I'm saying? And the older guard looked at me, he said, you a Dr. God? And I said, now, Cypher, he said, like, he said, so what doctor means? I was like, divine ruler, and what's PhD? Like, powers to heal the dumb. So, you know, this was a thing that I was learning from other guards, you know what I'm saying, while I was in the penitentiary system. You see what I'm saying? Because you study a lot of plus degrees there, you know what I'm saying? And when I was a younger guard, man, I was just like eager to teach it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then the person that gave me knowledge of stuff, this light skinned girl got offended. You know what I'm saying? She used to be in the first floor window, and I tried to make knowledge born to her, and she was like, you ain't God, you ain't God. And her mother came out, you know what I'm saying? So I told my enlightener about that. He said, nah, man, you can't be teaching it like that to the people because they, they get rebellious or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't understand the signs. Because I get it now. At that age, I wasn't understanding it, you know what I'm saying? Even with my old earth, man, she used to make rice with pork. You know what I'm saying? Before she put the rice, she used to put the pork in it. You know what I'm saying? So, all that had to stop after I had got knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? And, I told her about the culture and everything like that. And she respected it. You know what I'm saying?
She respected it.
Yeah, she respected it. You know what I'm saying? She seen that I stood my grounds. I wasn't eating pork no more. So, it wasn't cooked no more. You know, that was like,
Oh, so she agreed not to even cook it no more.
not to cook it no more. You know what I'm saying? You know, even though that she liked it, but when I was around, you know, she wouldn't cook it. You know what I'm saying? Or she wouldn't like,
That's
you know,
respect. That's
that's
respect.
just respect out of the culture. You know what I'm saying? That she had for it, because she was a Christian.
Right, you Christian.
Yeah, she's a Catholic. You know what I'm saying? Like most of the people from Puerto Rico, they Roman Catholics. You know what I'm saying? Or they could be Protestant. They could be, you know, in the Hallelujah Church. You know what I'm saying?
Hallelujah church.
The Hallelujah Church, praising the Lord and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's like baptism.
Ba-
Baptism.
baptism, yeah, you know.
Okay.
And then they got in Puerto Rico a lot of people that, you know, that are atheists, or they just believe in their African heritage. Like, you know, they with the bomba
Santeria.
santeria, yeah, they with the bomba and plena, you know. That's the traditional music from Puerto Rico that came from, they got African roots. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it came from, the drums and all that. And, you know, they practice that spirituality, you know what I'm saying? I don't bear mind to none of that. There's just a whole bunch of, it's just another form of like Catholic, because they got a whole bunch of,
Yeah, they know they lined up like the original people.
a lot of
Of the area.
saints they worship.
Right, but what I noticed that they lined it up with the teachings of Yoruba.
Yoruba,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
they line it up with Yoruba with Catholicism, and they
Okay.
matched it so that really it's almost like to help Yoruba survive the slave trade. You see what I'm saying?
Part and stuff, right? Because I heard about Yoruba. What was that? That's just another relation. Oh, another.
It's a religion, and on face value, it's dealing with a whole bunch of like different like Shango and Oshun and whatnot. Like
Oh, okay, okay.
these different kind of deities. From the Western perspective, it would be like like they are looking at. It'd be like a whole bunch of different mystery gods, right?
Right.
But from what I understand, if you look into it further, it's actually just different personality types. But it lines up with Santeria, from what I understand, and anybody who's watching this, anybody who's doing analysis to this video can correct me, but Shango Santeria is a mixture of Catholicism and Yoruba.
Okay.
It's like a mixture of it. You know what I'm saying? And so they take Yoruba and line up the different personalities in the Yoruba tradition and put it with Catholicism and make so Oshun would be considered like a saint.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like a you know what I mean? Like see how they got like the different saints in the Catholicism. They would take those same saints that are in Yoruba and line them up with the saints of Catholicism. You know what I'm saying? So it's in my study. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not all the way versed in it, but I know just a little bit of it. And what I do know, or from what I do understand, is that that was a way to help those African traditions to survive the whole slavery thing. You know what I'm saying? Because the slave master wasn't having you. Like, oh, you trying to practice those religions from back home.
Back home, yeah. You was
They gonna try to beat it out of you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And give you and replace the Catholicism. So this was a way for original people to kind of take to hold on to what they had, but to kind of camouflage it in the Catholic religion. You get what I'm saying? So
Just like it's interesting that you speak about that, because that just made me think about the book that I was reading, Slavery in Latin America and the Caribbeans, right? I have the book there, right? That is, you know how in Brazil was one of the biggest continent of Latin America, where most of the slave population of the original people, were in that continent of Brazil. You know what I'm saying? And that's where they had that.
You mean like the country, cause Brazil, the country Brazil.
Yeah, the country Brazil. That's where the slaves back then, they used to practice their martial arts, but they used to disguise it as a dance to the slave master.
Right.
You know, so that made me think about that when you was building on that, how the original people were smart enough to still practice their tradition and their arts. You know what I'm saying? In front of the slave master, making it look like a dance.
Right.
Because that is fly though, God. That is like something real sharp, God. Cause when I see the dance that they have, it's like a martial art kind of dance. You know what I'm saying? And I like it a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it was very wise. You know what I'm saying? At those times where you wasn't even allowed to even pick up a book, because if you was caught reading something, the punishment was severe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you probably die. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't want nobody ever to be, having knowledge of anything. They wanted it. As a matter of fact, that's today's reality in the knowledge culture today. You know what I'm saying? Why does the devil keep our people illiterate, so he could use them as a tool, also a slave, so he could keep them blind to themselves, so he could master them? Illiterate means ignorant. They wanted to keep you dumb, deaf, and blind for the rest of your days, man, so they can, the process of the 64-year process, God. You know what I'm saying? That they took us from different Virginia, Alabama, all over, God. You know what I'm saying? That when they went to the foundation, Africa, which we call Asia, you know what I'm saying? They took us all over, God, to the Caribbean, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. The original people was all over, God. All over. South America, all over. Wherever you say there was an original people, plus the people that rebelled against slavery. The Maroon tribes from Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? They rebelled against that, and the Taino Indians that rebelled, you know what I'm saying? They made a culture of their own, the ones that were, that they rebelled against the slavery. They went in the mountains to live, you know what I'm saying? And they survived. They had their own way of life, you know what I'm saying? So when, that happened also in Puerto Rico too, that, they were saying that there were no Indians, that the Taino Indians was extinct because they didn't want to go and count or go look. You know what I'm saying? They just, like, the governor at that time said, oh, they went extinct. But they never went extinct. They were there. They just ain't want to go and do the count. You know what I'm saying? Because Puerto Rico, you see, is a small island, but I tell you, take a walk from here to there, you see how big it is. It's huge, God. It's big. So it was enough forest there, you know what I'm saying, where they could have survived off the land. Because they was already there, and they were living off the land before they even came amongst them.
Right.
So, so they, and a lot of places and a lot of documentaries that I seen, there were Taino Indians that was refusing, to give up their last name. They didn't wanna accept the last name, like Rivera. They wanted their Taino name. They were like, okay, we don't have no other choice but to accept it, but we know our Taino name. So they knew that they were raped of their name and their land. A lot of them know that.
Yeah. No, that's interesting science. How the original people had to survive, and in their survival, they had to give up their names, had to give up their heritage in order to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, nowadays we think about just fighting to the last breath, but if you're thinking about the people of that time, and they had to worry about a whole family who might have been helpless to this onslaught of European oppression and having to just like give up your time. So like and then from the other side of the Caucasian would be like, yeah, they extinct. No, that's just that. No, those people are just undercover
Right.
now. You know what I'm saying? They not extinct. They just happen to be, you know what I mean, using the oppressors or the the colonizers' religion to hide their way of life, because they still may be practicing it, but they have to, in order to do trading, they have to speak that language.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like an ill signs, that I see all across the board. From the Yoruba people, or the original people of the continent of Africa that we know as East Asia, and then the original people of the North and South America. You know what I mean? And the indigenous people of these lands, and their encounters with the Caucasian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a real interesting side, and it's a deep science. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of times you think that these people might have just been, just folded. No, they just happen to transform to survive. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that's a deep science, though, y'all.
Speaking about that, and the actual facts is does this cover 14 million square miles. So when we was building on making the student enrollment in Spanish, right, the God Infinite in his, he has selva, for the wilderness of North America. I have desierto, because when you Google the word, what does a wilderness mean in Spanish? It gives you desierto. But he has selva. Selva means like a jungle. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like when we was going, after I had found out that he wrote another set of 120 as well. Well, we came to that agreement that, what I'm saying, that he left it the way he left his jungle, and I left mine's the way I wrote it. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like an agreement that we knew what that meant. That word wilderness.
Now, see that. Okay, so now getting into that, the size of
Of translating 120 in Spanish. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the beginning, I thank him in a way, because I was in the class with in the computer room. It was unique, and he said, "Well, you say you know it, so you say something." Because I used to in the Mecca, right? I used to say el fabricante. So Freedom looked at me, you know what I'm saying, and he looked at me and he said, "Fabricante," like that word sound. Fabricante really means fabricate. The fabricate. Like I'm trying to look for a word to make for the maker. So they looked at me and they said, "El que hace." That's the exact word. So I left it like that. El que hace la crema del planeta Tierra. El dueño, see. El que hace is the maker. El dueño is the owner. La crema is the cream. Del planeta Tierra, of the planet Earth. Padre de civilizaciones, father of civilization, y Dios del universo, God of the universe.
Okay, say that last part again. The God of the universe, Adelion.
Padre de civilizaciones, right? That's father of civilization. Dios del universo.
Dios. Okay.
So it's God. God is Dios.
Dios
del universo. You know what I'm saying? God of the universe. You know what I'm saying? So we got it word for word correctly. You know what I'm saying? In the second degree, who's the color man? ¿Quién es el hombre de color? El hombre de color es el hombre blanco casiático, o el diablo injetado de Jacob.
So but I had Diablo. But see, and
Diablo is devil.
Okay, right. Because I don't speak Spanish, right? But you educating me here.
Yeah, el hombre blanco is white.
Is white, yeah.
Y casiático is Caucasian. So it's Caucasian white man. Or el diablo injetado.
So Jacob in Spanish would be
Jacob. and then
Jacob.
Jacob, and then and then the Peruvian and Argentine they call him Jacobo too.
Jacob.
Jacobo.
Jacobo.
So they got Jacob and Jacobo. So you know that's why when we was at the Universal Parliament and the God understanding was telling him that they got different continents, you know what I'm saying? That's the Spanish changes. So the God infinite, he just turned his back, you know what I'm saying? Because he felt like he could communicate with those brothers and just like get it translated because he had been wrote that, but then there's a different speaking people population that the words just change slightly, but they got the same significance. Like for example, right? Like say Dominicans will say vaina, we say cosa, but it means the same thing.
What is it? What does it mean?
That's a thing. Like we say that thing. That's a for to them to a Dominican that'll be vaina. To us Puerto Ricans it'll be cosa.
Cosa.
Or like from somebody from
cosa means a thing,
right? Like from somebody in South America, right? Now, will they'll say ahorita. Ahorita for us will means say later. That means later for us, for the Puerto Rican. So you telling me ahorita, that means you give it to me later. You know what I'm saying? Which to me is like my nephew say, that sound retarded. Like me speaking to me, because if you tell me ahorita, they telling me I'm gonna bring it right now, but to me that means you're gonna bring it to me later. So you see how it changed? How, just two letters could change the whole significance of a word. So that's why we gotta be very careful with the translation.
God, I'm very fascinated with the science of language. Like I said, I grew up with a Puerto Rican babysitter, so I'm familiar with some of the
Words.
the words and some and the culture.
Right.
Somewhat. I just never fully picked up the language. Right. And then I also went and I spent a couple of months in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
I had a black woman out there that I
Okay.
was staying with, you know what I mean? And she was like my translator around the country. But I
Okay.
noticed like the difference, but I never fully grasped the language. But
Okay.
now, and that was back in 2009, 2010, right? Or 08 and 09, pardon me. You building on culture, and I'm telling you about.
Oh, that you was fascinated with the language.
I'm fascinated with language, because like I grew up in Canarsie, Medina, and there's different language cultures. Like I grew up around. Exactly, my babysitter was Puerto Rican. My mother's best friend was a Puerto Rican woman that went on to be my sister's godmother. There was Russians, there was Polish, there was Haitians, you know what I'm saying, Jamaican people,
All different cultures.
all different cultures, all around. Like Canarsie was a melting pot, and I would see how different people, how the different cultures interacted with each other. As a child, there was a lot of prejudices amongst the cultures. But as I grew older and I got the knowledge of myself, I became very fascinated with the sounds, especially learning how culture is a way of life, and how much language and culture go hand in hand, right? And then you talking about translating 120 lessons. Me and this 85er was building on the Bible, and the Bible has been translated many times. You know what I'm saying? And you see how different words, different cultures, the different words mean different things.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like the word virgin in Hebrew really just is really a young woman.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean she didn't have sex. It means she was just a young woman.
She's just a young woman.
Right. But then when you get to like the English culture, it means she never had sex. So that means that the science of the immaculate conception kind of like gets. I mean, and actually the immaculate conception is really more rooted in Catholicism. So all these different cultures and different languages, they mean different things. So when you building on the different languages or the different dialects, because it's still Spanish, right? Puerto Rican and Dominican, still Spanish, but y'all words are different. Y'all say words different, and the dialect and the accents and
the accent, you can
everything
tell.
is different. I could barely tell. I could barely tell. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I started going to more being in the Dominican Republic that I learned, okay, there's a little bit more. There's a difference. You see what I'm saying? You know, but and the same thing with like Mexican, Cuban, Colombian.
So let me ask you something. While you was over there, God, did you experience any racial discrimination? Because I know that they're having a controversy about that nowadays on YouTube. That I know for a fact that a lot of them they do not like Haitians for the reasons of that they were at war for. They got a history about that they were at war, and they had to liberate themselves from the Haitians because they ruled Santo Domingo for a lot of years.
And I was just doing an analysis that in the science of like Trujillo. You know what I'm saying? Trujillo, how he was like, a half original man, but he was really trying to eliminate the black.
That's the science about the president Trujillo that you're speaking about. I also know find out some science about him that he was really like a brown seed brother, but when they used to go take pictures, he used to powder himself with white powder. And then he wanted all the models, that represent the country of Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, to be white. He was Europeanized and.
Right. And see, when I went there, what was interesting, this is the L signs, God. When I was out there, and I was, like I said, I was with a black woman, but she was Dominican. So she had more what they call out the Indio features, right? Right. She, like she was brown, a little darker than you, right?
Okay.
And she like we would go around and they see me because I'm a knowledge seed, and they was like, "What you doing with the Haitian?"
Ooh.
They asked me what you doing with the Haitian. But when I spoke, they got shocked. They was like, "Oh, he's American."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they look at my clothes and the way I dress, and like they could kind of tell. But when I spoke, it was more clear. It was like, "Oh, yo, he's American. He's." Then they gave me a little bit more leniency, like okay. But whereas like when they thought I was Haitian, it was almost like they was about to form on me, like yeah.
They was gonna form Voltron.
Yeah, they was about to form.
I know the science. I know the science.
Oh, yo, you missing? Like they was like, yo, what you doing? What you doing with that Haitian? And then when I be like, oh, what they said? Yeah. And then they back up like, oh, he's speaking English.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there is a lot of racial tension and cultural tension.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In the Dominican Republic. You know what I'm saying? The black woman that I was with, I was teaching her, and she learned that, she knew because her father was my complexion.
Okay.
But her old earth was like, more like your complexion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so she understood that she was black, but she still had a lot of cultural pins in her head. You know what I'm saying? I had to go through a whole lot of.
I was getting into that, God, because it was interesting that you mentioned that, man, because when I was reading in the book, they said that half of the population that was married, not married, but basically they forced their will on them was Spanish. The Spanish that came over there to the Dominican Republic, they had the Dominican woman, so that's when they called that breed of Dominican mestizos. That they all they have Spanish and they have black in them. But they all original people. You see what I'm saying? They just don't understand the signs because nobody have ever really taught them the signs. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when we was building the last time about when I told you about the DNA ancestry, right? I have found out that Spain and Portugal, when I was reading that book about slavery in Latin America and the Caribbean, now I took heed to what you were saying. Not just that you don't have to embrace that, but it's good for you to know your origins and you to study that.
Right.
Now I see where I get the devil from. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying, I'm not proud of that of heritage. You know what I'm saying? Because you know they always talking about the original people. Go home, go home, go home. But I tell them like Farrakhan tell them. You know what I'm saying? You say go home, but what would you do if somebody tell you to go home? Where would you go at? Because everywhere you came amongst us, you stole the land and you deceived the people. You was the children of Yaqub. You know what I'm saying? So everywhere they went to what? Steal, rape, cheat, you know what I'm saying? Do devilishment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the devilishment was already embedded in them. They came with the cross. You know what I'm saying? To make a slave or a Negro to say, yes, serve him. Yes, master, master this. Yes, master that. You know, today's reality. Why does the devil teach and keep our people illiterate? You know, to make an illiterate fool. And there's a lot of brothers that's waking up. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of brothers that's doing their duty. You know what I'm saying? So once we gonna get it right. You know what I'm saying? Don't blame your neighborhood when you're not speaking to the people around you. If you see there's people here that's selling dope and stuff like that, and you don't warn them, if you don't warn the wicked from their wicked ways, then don't ask yourself why your community is in ruins.
Right.
Because you're not doing your duty as a civilized person. You might say they may not take heed, and it's not easy to go out there and teach, but all you can do is warn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do your duty, and then the rest is up to them. Because you know you can't force nobody into being righteous. They gotta probably learn from the wickedness of their own experience. You know what I'm saying? And come to terms that knowing that way of life is not conducing them or is beneficial to them in no way, and for them to learn that to live righteous, which they don't have to deal with no incarceration or being away from their loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Just living righteous. You know, because it took me a long time to learn. You know, from all the errors that I made in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because you see, every story got two sides to it, God. You know what I'm saying? So you had to go through hell. You know what I'm saying? In order to be right. Because if you didn't go through nothing, then how you gonna be right?
How you gonna know what right is?
Well, how you gonna know what right is, right? You know what I'm saying? If you never.
Sometimes you gotta bump your head.
Yeah, you gotta bump your head, and I was one of those that, you know what I'm saying, that was hard head. I had to bump my head over and over and over. Like they say, insanity is like when you keep doing things, you know what I'm saying, and thinking that you keep doing the same thing and you thinking you're gonna have the same results, no, different result. You know what I'm saying? That you think you probably gonna think you probably gonna sell drugs, you know what I'm saying, all your life and you're never gonna get knocked. A lot of people have been successful in it. And I'm not saying this to encourage any youth out there to go and do it. You know what I'm saying? Because brothers are smart, but ain't nobody never escaped the treasury of that because either they went to jail or their loved ones got hurt or they got killed. So you know what I'm saying? It's things that goes along with that price. You know, it's no the love is no longer there when you selling narcotics, like as far as dope, because you ruining your community. You know what I mean? You okay, you living fat for now, your pockets is fat. You know what I'm saying? But you destroying that person's life, and that way is gonna come back to haunt you some way. You know what I'm saying? Because you ruining the community. You're not helping the community. You know, when you walk around here and you see all them people leaning like that, you know what I'm saying? And your pockets is fat, you know what I'm saying? That's
all the above is caused by
not a son of man. So, you know, you have to teach. People got free will. They're gonna do whatever they want regardless, right, God?
right.
You know, the only thing that you could do is just make knowledge born and continue to add on and live righteous.
You know, I notice a lot of people when they want to, when they come into this nation, you know, they get the knowledge, but they don't really get the culture,
Right.
right? And the culture is righteous. Well, the culture is our God, our self, Lord, and Master, right? But with that, our self, Lord, and Master, it's a mathematical thing. It's not just I can just do whatever I want to do, right? It's cause and effect, and we're gonna cause righteousness to affect righteousness, right? But a lot of people don't get that. That's the signs a lot of people don't get. They may get the lessons, but they don't get how to live with the lessons,
Right.
how to walk with the lessons, and make the lessons walk with them. They don't get that, so they may come from a background of hustling, come from the background of being gangsters and and that's what they bring to the culture, or that's what they bring to this nation, and they wind up really living that out as opposed to you know allowing righteousness to be their culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how, that's where I see a lot of problems, and that speaks to what you're talking about in terms of, when you out in your neighborhood, you should be able to, to help uplift your neighborhood.
Right.
But people don't get that, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they still got those pins in their head from the world that they came from.
Right.
So there's a lot of work that we got to do in terms of work on ourselves and work on building with the 85%. I was building with one of my peoples that I grew up, who is at 85%. And he was saying that growing up he would hear the term 85% and he would feel like that was a disrespectful term. You know what I'm saying? But the misunderstanding of that is that you think that 85% is just a bad person or wicked. Really, what it just means is the majority. The majority of people who are
Misled.
Misled in the wrong direction.
Yeah, they don't know the facts between, the truth and fiction.
Right. Right. So they wind up feeling like when you hear the term of 85%, so who wants to be, the poison animal eater, the slave of mental power, who don't know who the true living God is, or the all in this world, and worship that which they know not, and easy led in the wrong direction, hard to lead in the right. Who wants to be that? You know what I'm saying? But if you had the real knowledge of it, you would know how to get yourself out of that. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like the piece with the magnetic attracts the piece without. That's why there's a majority.
Right.
Because somebody has a magnetic personality and maybe doing something wrong with their magnetic, and they're attracting all these different people, and now you have the majority of people who are magnetized by it. And then there's the 5% who say, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go down that path. Because they looking at they looking at their own lives and looking to be righteous and looking to have a righteous way of life, as opposed to going with the flow and being with what everybody else is. You know what I'm saying? So again, going back to culture, culture is a very important thing, and I was looking up this term goyim or Gentile, by which it's a Jewish term, which means like it really means nation, but then later on it turned out to be uncivilized people, the uncivilized. So it's kind of like our way of saying 85%.
85%.
But it's not necessarily a derogatory or an offensive term, but it can be used as an offensive term. It's almost like saying like you a foreigner.
Right, because a lot of people that's another thing too, because when you're saying dumb, deaf, and blind, they take offense. They take offense to that. You know what I'm saying? Who's dumb, deaf, and blind? You know how the majority of them are. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take it. They're going to look at, and then some of them, like when you manifest the truth to them, they don't know how to react. You get different reactions from them because they've been trained so much to believe in the mystery God that when you try to show them the right way, they don't want. They because what people don't know, they not God. It's like they try to destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't know.
Don't know no
So
better.
yeah, they don't know. So when you don't know, you're gonna knock it. You know what I'm saying? You don't. They don't want to have an open mind to it. They want to be rebellious. I say the word. You know what I'm saying? Just like with when brothers get knowledge of stuff and they change their name, and people don't want to still be calling them by their government name or by the name that they were calling them by 85. That's a big one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That I've been through this, you know what I'm saying, with my physical, because I got my sisters call me by my righteous name, God. You know what I'm saying? But my older brother, he's the one that's stiff necked and rebellious. You know what I'm saying? That, you know what I'm saying? He'll just uh call my government name just to see if he could get under my skin. You see what I'm saying? And my sister tell him, but like he said, he prefer for you to call him Sun God because out of respect for his culture. So could you do that and stop laughing or whatever, or stop joking about taking everything as a joke? You know what I'm saying? And then he shuts down. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like a big child. He don't want, he never wants to be corrected. And that's the problem with a lot of brothers nowadays, that if you don't, if you're not open minded and you're not subjected to be corrected, or you don't like to be corrected, then I don't think that that this is for you, because you always gonna make errors in life. That's why positive education always correct errors, God. You know what I'm saying? You know, we subjected to error. Everybody's subjected to error, but what you gonna do in correcting those errors? You know what I'm saying? It's just like giving somebody, like you was building earlier, and say, having the knowledge. You give a brother a set of 120, don't give him no responsibility. He got something that's so powerful, he don't know how to handle it. He don't understand he don't understand his power. So it's like having something. If you don't have no, in other words, what I'm saying, God, is you don't have nobody to walk you through the culture. You know what I'm saying? Then you won't get it. You won't get it right. You gotta have somebody to give you responsibility with that 120. You see how it was given to me? Here, go take a set of 120 and learn how to be a parrot. Look what happened. All the hell that I had to endure because of that. You know what I'm saying? Got bombed, and after I got bombed, still, you know what I'm saying? I didn't understand it because I wasn't, I didn't have the full understanding to the culture. You see what I'm saying? Even eating out of Chinese, okay, I didn't eat pork, but nobody never made born to me about the science about eating shrimps and scavengers of the seas that still was eating Chinese food. You know what I'm saying? And they cook pork in the Chinese food. You know what I'm saying? Nobody never built on me with that neither. You know what I'm saying? Or eating crabs or lobster, you know what I'm saying? They didn't make knowledge to me born like that. I used to eat shrimps.
So how did you learn to correct that?
Because one time, you know what I'm saying, when I was in the school, and I also saw a video one time in your channel, that two brothers was building about that the scavengers of the sea, and the way the pictures that looked at the crab, the shrimp looked like a roach. Man, that's disgusting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not gonna front. I love the shrimp fried rice with steak, but I just stopped. You know what I'm saying? After I learned it was a scavenger for the sea, that it eats the shit. Part in my expression, it eats the doodle off the surface of the. It cleans the ocean. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I say, oh no, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? You eating pork in a different form. So all that, you gotta be aware of that too. And then like, for a lot of people too, it takes discipline, Almighty. You know what I'm saying, Infinite? Because a lot of people is not willing to stop eating pork. or stop eating shrimps and lobster, they probably say, what these guys, what's wrong with these guys? What they, you know what I mean? Why they gotta stop eating that? Even says that in the Bible. Don't eat from the animal with hooves. Don't eat, vultures and stuff like that, or swine, which is referred as a pig in Leviticus. In the Bible, Leviticus.
Right.
Leviticus. I have a real problem in pronouncing
Leviticus.
Leviticus.
Right.
Leviticus, yeah. But Leviticus, yeah, where it speaks about not eating swine. So the 85% of the population is not even going according to that.
Right.
You understand? If you wanna get technical, so that part they ignore about the Bible. They don't wanna see that, but they wanna believe that three fit into one, which is mathematically impossible.
Talk about the Trinity.
Yeah, they want to believe in the Trinity, like you said, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
and which is mathematically impossible. You know.
Yeah, no, that's I share that same thing in terms of dietary laws. Right. When I first got knowledge, matter of fact, even before I got this knowledge of the 5%, I stopped eating pork. By listening to Malcolm X and whatnot. And there was a lot of 5% that was in my neighborhood, right? But then I came in contact with them. Some of them was still eating shrimp. So I was like, oh, I thought I could still eat that. It wasn't until later on that I learned, like, oh, the shrimp is not right and exact. You know what I'm saying? And certain fish is not right and exact. Fish without scales and fish over 50 pounds. Like, I started learning about that and studying it and why it's not good. You know what I'm saying? And like, to think of the diet that shrimp had. So the diet, if shrimp is eating doodle on the floor, then I eat the shrimp, I'm also eating doodle.
Right, because you're eating a doodle cleaner.
Right, you eating doodle cleaner. You know what I'm saying? And that's you don't want to eat a doodle cleaner. You know what I'm saying? You eat a doodle, you know what I mean? And see, these are the things that I had to learn, by coming around the culture as opposed to just reading a piece of paper or just going online. You come amongst the culture, you learn a lot more of these things. I mean, there is literature on shrimp and crabs and lobsters. It's just that it's not as prevalent. It's not as upfront. You see what I'm saying? But that's why it's up to the individual to go further into his or her studies,
Right.
so that they can actually learn more and do better for themselves. Because when you know better, you do better.
Right, or to his and her culture, the way of life. You know what I'm saying? To understand it, because you're defeating the purpose. You know what I'm saying? And eating scavengers from the sea. It's like you eating pork. So you still consuming that which is unclean.
Right.
So that's the laws. And it's simple laws. It's just
It's simple, but people don't know.
discipline.
And what people don't know, like people are illiterate or ignorant. And ignorant just means that you don't know.
Right.
And, dealing with today's degree, right? So today's degree in 114, right? That you just don't know. You don't know. Somebody hasn't exchanged that information with you, or you haven't went into the world and extracted that information to actually know about that. You just, a lot of times people are just going, because even with me, when I was young, I got this knowledge when I was 16. You know what I'm saying? And well, actually, I was sparked when I was 13. You know what I'm saying? I was sparked at 13 years old, and a lot of brothers who call themselves 5%ers around the way, I would still see them eating Chinese food and eating. So I thought, and I was magnetized by their way of life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so like until I came into my own and started doing my own studies is when I really realized, oh, wait a minute. I'm in error by consuming these things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like, so it's a thing of understanding. Understanding comes in time. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember my aunt. My aunt said, she said, "Oh, you don't eat pork," because they had bought some Chinese food, and she was still eating swine, but she knew about the culture of not eating pork and not eating. She knew about unclean food, even though she was still eating it.
Okay.
And she was like, they had ordered some scallops, and I was like, I want scallops, and she said, you can't eat that. She said, that's not what you And I was just kind of like, wait a minute, nah, like you don't know what you're talking about. Until years later, I realized, oh, she was right. The scallops, the shrimps, the lobsters, the crabs, those are the wrong. Those are sea scavengers.
What about part and self, right? What about what's that greens?
Oh, collard greens.
Collard greens.
Collard greens. Right.
Those,
That's another thing that brothers don't even really know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, either you didn't listen to the Otisville tape, or
Yeah.
you didn't You didn't read How to Eat to Live.
right.
It talks about those in the tape. A lot talks about that on the tape, and it speaks about that in How to Eat to Live.
Right. So collard greens are not good.
Well, no, that's hard on your system. If you notice when a lot of times when people eat that, or when I was eating it, it didn't digest fully.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You would still see it in your stool. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the God K-Bar would say, leave that for the skunks.
Okay.
And the raccoons. Let them have that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not, But what's interesting also, I was building with the guard now Saeed, who is like an herbalist, doctor, and he's vegan.
Mm-hmm.
He was recommending that you do eat. He said that collard greens and collard greens and like mustards, and they are high in mineral and vitamin content, right? But I was just sizing up. Why would Elijah say that? Because
It's hard on your system.
It's hard on your system, and a lot of times when people cook it, they cook it with swine.
Why did Elijah say don't eat collard greens? Let's just be real. Because you putting pig meat in your greens.
Oftentimes.
All the time in your greens. If you from the South and it's 1930, you got pig meat in the greens, right? You got pork chop next to your greens, right? You got all kinds of pig meat in the greens. Can't have that. He said don't eat sweet potatoes. Why you don't eat sweet potatoes? Because sweet potatoes put you in the mood of eating the greens with the sweet potatoes, which reminds you of the pig meat in there. Right?
I couldn't say he specifically meant it that way, or for those specific reasons.
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? Of course, I'm not in Elijah's mind. What I'm saying is that if we put two and two together, we can we can come up with an idea as to why he did this, because these things remind us of the Negro diet, the slave diet, right? And this is a diet that is very detrimental.
But okay.
Right. There are a lot of times when they prepare it. So
they put ham in it or whatever.
To give it whatever flavor, the meat flavor in it. So God kind of came with the mindset that Elijah said that because people were gonna revert right back to eating swine if they mess with collard greens. But I also looked at it as it is harsh on your system.
Okay.
And it's harsh. So, in my sons and what I was drawing up is maybe you might want to juice it, and you can get the benefits from it.
Oh, okay, making them juice.
Yeah, juice it, or blend it down, like so that your system won't have such a hard time breaking it down. Cause it takes a lot to break down your system. So your system starts working overtime, and a lot of times it's working overtime, and it's not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, I'm not too, I'm not too like,
Knowledgeable about that?
no, I'm not too fine like with having it or not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I consumed it before, but once I heard that it was that no good, I stopped. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So but like the vegetables that I really can eat, because I can't eat tomatoes because it got high acid, and I have gout. And that's another thing that I like to make knowledge more on here, so brothers can start learning that when you consume alcohol, it could a lot of alcohol, like I did in a lot of moons ago, it can have different effects on your body, and that's a way that I got that what is called gout. That and I didn't even know that it came from that. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, it mess up your liver, and then I also found out as well as that it kills your blood cells and all that. Alcohol, it shouldn't be no reason why you should consume alcohol at all. It's like and a lot of those programs that they Alcoholic Anonymous that they teach, they say that gasoline goes inside a car, you know what I'm saying, and that will make a vehicle function. Alcohol don't go for our body. It's not good for our body. Water is good for our body. You know what I'm saying? Consuming water, that's not will consumable for our body. Like, a bear could eat some tree leaves or whatever, but we can't consume no leaves, you know what I'm saying? Because our system is not built for that. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of way for our system is not built for certain lot of things. You need to know that from consuming that you can get other things that could get wrong with you in the future. More complications.
On part of that. What I learned about, alcohol, alcohol can be useful. The problem is that brothers overindulge in it.
Right.
Overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was reading up that, red wine helps with digestion. It helps with, in your system, but brothers don't drink it for that purpose. Brothers drink it for the purpose of getting intoxicated and continually getting intoxicated, and the system winds up, your body winds up, rejecting that because you overdid it.
Right.
So there's a lot of things there's a lot of things in terms of dietary laws that we have gotten away from and that we have to really get back to studying. There's a lot of scientists in our nation that are doing different. I would like to, in my travels, I like to bring those brothers together. Like there's the brother I was telling you about, Nal Saeed, out in Louisiana.
Okay.
He's an iridologist. You heard of the term iridologist before?
No, not really.
Iridologist iridologist is somebody who can look in your eyes and determine the health of the rest of your body, your organs.
Oh, okay.
Just by in your eyes. So he can tell you, like, all right, in your eyes, he might be able to tell that you have gout, or that you may have high blood pressure or whatever, and he give you some natural remedies of how to remedy and correct those things.
And speaking about that part and stuff that I cut you off, then it just like a chain reaction, God. From the gout, I suffer from high blood pressure too that I didn't know. You see, so one thing cause another chain reaction, and it makes all one of your body, the functions of your organs of your body work harder. Once you start getting, because from the beginning, this is how I found out, God, because I was in Puerto Rico on vacation, and I was with my niece, so they been acting real friendly. Y'all from New York or whatever, have a beer on the house, and I don't really like Coronas. Plus, I was driving, so they had a Heineken, so I said, okay, because I was like, why do I deserve this generosity? So I just drank the beer like fast. Because I was driving, so I didn't want her to be caught in that situation like that. So my niece was taking her time with the Corona. But to make a long story short, you know what I'm saying, the next day, I had found that my knees were swollen, God, and hurting, you know what I'm saying? So I Googled it, you know what I'm saying, what dietary benefits should I eat to not to get gout? So when I found out that the beer, you know what I'm saying, alcohol triggers it, you know what I'm saying, I completely stopped. I completely stopped because it's not fun having your knees swelled up, you know what I'm saying, where you can't even walk. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take care of our health more. You know, and don't wait till things get complicated. You know, do it now. Now is the time, you know what I'm saying? Because if you wait for later, then you might not be able, things could get more complicated, like you said.
Well, God, we have dietary laws for a reason,
Right.
right? And we have our scientists around in our nation that have drawn up a lot of these, come to even Elijah. Elijah, he said, don't eat, certain things or don't consume certain things. Allah said, don't consume it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers is, still doing it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, but as a nation, you know what I'm saying? I think that we can come together and draw up, um, the draw up the dietary law, because there's a dietary law, and then there are certain things that certain brothers are lean. Like I like to eat more plant based. Some people eat more meat. You see what I'm saying? And that might be good for them, or better for them. But at the same time, the scientists in our nation can, well, we all scientists. Actually,
Right.
we are all scientists. We all study and see exactly what is good for you, what works for you.
Right.
And there are a lot of our brothers that have returned to the essence because they have been rebellious to what Allah taught, or been rebellious to what the laws that we set forth beforehand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really up to us as individuals to go out and study, as well as be in tune with other scientists and compare notes. We all have to do our own research.
Yeah, it's true because you see, a lot of people just think that they just telling you don't consume that because, you know, for whatever reasons. You know what I'm saying? And you might not take it like that, but you at the time you might not know what damage is doing to your body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't wait to find out the results or negative results of it. You know what I'm saying? Learn from somebody else's experiences is what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like the God said, the things was here, you know what I'm saying, for they have its benefits, you know what I'm saying? But what happens is that individuals take the substances and they abuse it.
Right.
They abuse it. You know what I'm saying? Just like marijuana, you know what I'm saying, was made for recreational purposes, you know what I'm saying? But some brothers abuse it, you know what I'm saying? They just want to continue to smoke on all day, you know what I'm saying? I was like that at one time, you know what I'm saying, smoking a blunt after, you know what I'm saying, every hour. No, you can't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one before I go to sleep, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? One in the morning,
One in the morning, one in the afternoon, before
and
bed.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? When I finish eating before you came, that I smoke, and one before I go to sleep, because all that, having one after hour, that's abusing it.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
That's like going to a bar. Like my old king used to tell me in Puerto Rico when he used to see me. He said, "Yeah, it would have been good if you would have been to the bar and just had one or two beers, but no." You want to keep going on and on and on. Erica Badu, you want to keep on and on. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew from that time, you got to learn how to have control, God. You know what I'm saying? And when you don't have the mental right, you know what I'm saying? When the mental ain't right, you ain't gonna have control over nothing, because the mental controls everything. Once that's gone, you know what I'm saying? The physical, the emotional, the will, the rest of the planes, of the seven planes of energy, you know what I'm saying? They gone, because the mental is what is the first one, the creation of everything, the mind. So once that plane is gone, you can kiss the rest of them bye
thank
bye.
God. Yeah.
You
That's a
know,
fact.
that's why you gotta stay focused and stay in your studies and live the culture. Don't you know what I mean? It's all well to find and to manifest and to know it, because 360 comes like what? Knowing it, manifesting it, and living it. You know, that's how you make the 360. You know, you also have to know how to quote it. You know what I'm saying? Because how Dog Kim told me about if we was at war, you know what I'm saying, and you was intact with the language. You know what I'm saying? As far with the quoting or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then nah, you got to stay on. That's why, one time he was building with me in the yard and he was telling me that. He said that's why it's important to have it and to go over it. Because I'm a member in the class, Infinite, that stuck with me. The time that the older God, Allah Shah said, um, I don't care if he's 40 something years old, he do a lot of cursing. And I don't care how old he is, you better know those F lessons. And then he turned around, looked at the whole class, and he said, and that goes for all of y'all here. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I used, like, from that time, every time I'm soaking, God, from the student enrollment to the actual facts, you know what I'm saying? I go through it one by one because it's a very good exercise as well, you know what I'm saying? To keep that, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things that you have to remember in 120, God.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
a lot of long degrees too.
There's definitely a lot of long degrees. It's also, a good exercise for your mind to keep yourself sharp and on point. You know what I'm saying? It's like your brain is like a muscle, right? Or your memory is like a muscle, and you retaining all that information in 120 is like it's an actual muscle. You know what I'm saying? And then when you go out and you exercise it, you can flex it a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
How I do it, God. Sometimes when I go do the 120, I start with the big degrees first. I go from the build destroy degree in the 1 of 40, then I go to the born degree in the 1 of 14, and then I go to the culture degree in the 1 of 14. The longest ones,
Right,
those three.
What about the wisdom build degree?
The wisdom build degree, that's the first one
Oh,
that I do.
Okay, I thought you said the build degree in the 1 of 40.
In the 1 of 40, that's one, and then the build the destroy degree in the 1 of 40. Those two.
Yeah. So the wisdom build, the build destroy. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And the 1 of 40, and then I go to the born degree in the knowledge culture, and then I go to the culture degree in the knowledge culture.
So why do you do it like that? You say so because you just want to get
the big ones out the way first, and then I go to the student enrollment, and then I say, oh, well, I already coded the culture degree and the knowledge culture. I already coded the born degree, and I already coded the long ones.
The long ones.
Okay, yeah, I already got those out the way.
Out the way. Okay. I mean, it's different ways of
doing it.
Of doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one way. That's your specific individual way. But for me, I like to go through
order.
The order from knowledge, from knowledge to born, from knowledge to Pluto.
From knowledge to Pluto and back to
knowledge.
Right. Right. Go south.
So I always know the order. You know what I mean? Like. I could go to just like the alphabet. I could go to like any 10th letter of the alphabet is J. You know what I'm saying? The 24th is X. You know what I'm saying? Like
you already have it.
Have like that because I started to learn the order of it. So I learned it like that's how I learned my 120s like in a certain order.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I draw it up like that. But then coming in contact with brothers have it in different orders. You see what I'm saying? And them having it in different orders. You know what I mean? They some brothers might be like, what's the 36 degree and 120? It depends on how you have it. You see what I'm saying? Like in order in which you have it. But
and then to ask a brother that part and self, right? Because some brothers get it different. Because I seen some brothers that they get the 1 of 14 before they get the 1 of 36.
Yeah.
So to ask a brother like the way you just finished asking, what's the 88th degree in 120 lessons? You know what I'm saying? That's like
It depends on, like I said, depends on how you got it.
How you got it, right? How you got it, because some brothers got it like that, and some brothers say, nah, don't ask me, just ask me what it is. Like for, because that's just making like some things complicated for some people.
It is complicated, but I don't see nothing wrong with it per se, because it's an exercise. So, you just got to exercise. Some people are just not used to that particular exercise. It's like going to the gym and, somebody may used to be doing chin-ups. And then the next person come along, they can't do chin-ups. They can do a whole bunch of curls with a lot of weight, but they can't really do any real chin-ups.
They can't pull their own weight up.
They can't pull their own weight up,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're not used to that in that way. They're not used to that particular exercise. But if they were to get used to that exercise, they would know how to do it. They would have, gain the benefit of that.
Right.
Just so I don't see nothing wrong with it. It's just that, not everybody knows it that way. So when I ask a brother, what's the 88th degree, and they say, okay, it depends on how you have it. And I say, well, if you had it, with the 1 to 14 first, and then the 1 to 36, and then the 1 to 40, then what's that degree, right? If they don't know it, it's like it's all right. But it's still an exercise for you to get that on point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the same way, even with the whole power refinement thing, right? I understand when brothers say that your power can't be refined. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand that I have the power to refine.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I know, dealing with this culture, I know the language, I know how to communicate with my brothers and sisters, because I've been around long enough. I know, okay, over here, this sect of individuals speak the language this way, or speak this dialect. Speaking in this dialect is almost like going to difference between Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Right.
It's still Spanish.
It's still Spanish, but a different dialect.
A
different dialect. They might change slightly a word or two. And how we notice that is a Puerto Rican and Dominican, even though the same people, Taino, the Antilles. The major Antilles is the Dominican Republic, and the lesser Antilles is Puerto Rico, because it's a smaller country.
What's the Antilles? What's that?
Antilles is was considered the Caribbean islands. You know what I'm saying? So, and they teach you that in school, and in the 4th grade that I learned that from my uncle taught me that. He said the lesser Antilles is Puerto Rico, and the major Antilles, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the minor Antilles is Puerto Rico, and the major Antilles is Santo Domingo, because of the island. Before it was called Santo Domingo, it was called
Española.
The Española. So you know what I'm saying? Is a bigger land mass, and Puerto Rico is a smaller land mass.
Okay.
So that's why they call it the major and the minors Antilles. You know what I'm saying? So and Antilles that come from the word of ancient, old. You know what I'm saying? So the islands, when for thousands and thousands of years before the Europeans thought about stepping foot in the Caribbean or wherever in North America, the original people were here.
Right.
So it wasn't a new science to them about navigating in the seas and stuff like that, because the original people, knew the science of the earth. The Caucasian people was the ones that were lost, and to the great civilizer Musa came, and taught them, you know what I'm saying, how to wipe their behind out of the cave, because they was living a savage way of life. They didn't even know how to speak. Right. You know what I'm saying? He had a bit of fire around him, for he won't be eaten by the savages. That's how savage they were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They stole the civilization from the original people. That's why a lot of the people that's not aware of their history, they don't know how great black people are. They don't know the powers that they own people have. This is including what we teach, the black, brown, and yellow. That we don't separate the seeds. We even teach
the seeds.
Yeah, we even teach the white people, even though that they, we are merciful people, because a lot of people will be rebellious of what they did to us, and and knowing their wicked ways and actions and what they put the original people through. A lot of people, they rebellious against that. They have hate towards that. You know what I'm saying? But we still teach them. You gotta teach them they wicked. You know what I'm saying? We gonna teach them you the devil. You know what I'm saying? and we God. You know what I'm saying? And that's just facts. You can't sugarcoat it, right, God?
Right.
You know.
I mean, some people do sugarcoat it, man. The science of knowing how to communicate in society. You know what I'm saying? And I was just seeing this, looking at this podcast the other day, and the brother was just talking about, like, when you go into a job interview, if you know that those particular people who have the opportunity and resource for you respect it and dress up this way, when you go into there, if you're trying to get that resources in a peaceful way, then you go in a suit and tie for a job interview. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing with dealing with the language. Like, do you think Allah went to Mayor Lindsay and called him a devil and told him he was a devil before he got to school?
That's why that's why make me think about Allah was a great man, because you know what I'm saying, even though that he knew all the signs and stuff like that, he never discriminated amongst the white people. You know what I'm saying? Even that he took the skunk out of the second degree and the 1 to 10. You know what I'm saying? Because brothers had it, the skunk of the planet Earth, and he said the white man is not a skunk. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he took even that out of the lessons. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, the father was a great man. And to answer your question, no, I don't think that the father did call Mayor Lindsay a devil first before he got to school. I thought the father was wise enough to, later on teach him.
To
you know what I'm saying?
And speak the language a certain way so that he understand and he could take that and go amongst his own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause he went into the halls of government and advocated for Allah and his 5%.
Wow.
That's
power.
That's powerful.
That's power.
That's power. You know what I'm saying? So he was wise enough and knew how to deal with the language a certain way. Just like when you go in for a job interview and you know that these people have a resource, you gotta go in there and know how to speak the language.
It's just
and
like
know that culture.
Right. It's just like when you set in your mind into getting something that you want, God. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna manifest yourself as intellectually as you can to get that opportunity to get in that position. Because if you don't use what you know, God, then it's useless. That's like the useful land, God. The lessons teach us that, God. You know what I'm saying? How much of this useful land is used by the total population? You know what I mean? We use 29 million of it, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the total population uses 29 million of it. We use that 23 million, man. You know what I'm saying? If it was up to me, I use it all. You know what I'm saying? 196,940,000. You know what I'm saying? I use it all because at the end of the day, that's what's it is. The land is what's gonna give you the power. Where you think like, you know what I'm saying? They have a lot of these, you know what I'm saying, these buildings and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like the white man, God. You know what I'm saying? Like the majority of the people are not being racist or not, because I don't got nothing against no Jews. You know what I'm saying? Jews ain't did nothing to me. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? I mean, in the history,
not directly.
Not directly to me, you know what I'm saying? But to my people, yeah, I understand that. But I'm not gonna, hold that, you know what I mean, like be rebellious or that all my life, or because the thing about it is this, God. Like when somebody had done something to you or to your people, you can't keep dwelling on that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when somebody do something to you, sometimes you gotta let gone bys be gone bys. You know what I'm saying? Because that might not allow you to concentrate and excel and higher. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about what somebody had done to you in the past. While everything is, you know what I'm saying, in life is so precious and everything is in the future. You don't know what the future is ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of beautiful things that you can elevate, you know what I'm saying, and get, you know, that you might have lost. Before you can't be stuck on one thing. That's what I mean. So it's peace. You know, that you be able to utilize the knowledge and to solving your own problems.
Right.
You know, and living your culture.
That's what this knowledge is about.
It's for, yeah.
This knowledge is about, you know, elevating yourself. You know, that goes into the science of, like, you know, me doing this stuff with the camera. I've always enjoyed camera. Matter of fact, I come from a background, like my grandfather was somebody who built TVs back in the 50s, the 40s and 50s.
Right.
That's my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And then my cousins, you know, was into computers and electronics and into art. You know what I'm saying? So when I came into this knowledge, I was taught to have a skill, to acquire skill in the trade. And when I first heard that, it didn't dawn on me that what I knew or what I enjoyed was a skill in the trade.
I just wanted to show you the picture of my grandfather, God. Cause I remember I told you that he looked at you looked at like your complexion. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. You know, cause the God knowledge that he's from. He came from New Orleans. I think that he drove. Right? He said, your grandfather looked like Dr. York.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Who said this?
The God knowledge, you know what I'm saying?
Which knowledge?
He's from New Orleans. I'm gonna show you the God. Wait. Is in my page, you know what I'm saying? The God, you know. Look at him, God.
Okay.
Ain't that knowledge seed?
This is knowledge seed, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's his daughter.
Let me see. Yeah. You said that's his daughter?
Yeah, that's my aunt, yeah. That's my grandmother and that's my grandfather. On my father's side.
Peace.
Yeah, see how knowledge he is, I told you.
Yeah.
And he tall. He mad tall. He like 6 something. Yeah, and then this was the pictures in the school, you know what I'm saying, that I took in a law school. This was when I met my earth here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. When she was Power Cipher years old, I've been with her knowledge guard years. You know?
Okay, peace.
You know?
Peace.
And this was me back in 82. In 92. 92, wow. Yeah. 92. This was in PR. And that's my brother-in-law. Right here. You know? That was in Puerto Rico in the school. So you say art.
What school was this?
That was a public school that I used to go to, a public school in my town. It's the school is called Jose Pablo Morales. No, that's the junior high school. This is the elementary school. I forgot the name of it. Rafael Hernandez, I think it is, in Toalta, Puerto Rico. And that's my old earth. My old earth right here.
Okay, peace.
Yeah, right here too. She look a lot like me.
Yeah. You definitely, she does look like you.
Yeah, she look a lot like me.
Right. Or you look like her.
Yeah, she returned. Oh, here we go. Here, there he go again. Yeah, you saw that picture. Right?
Yeah, you just showed me that picture.
Yeah.
Okay, peace. And what's your physical degree, God?
55.
55. Okay.
55, dog. Know what I'm saying?
Peace.
And this is my great granddaughter, her.
All right, yeah.
That's
I see
the one that
was saying 120 in the.
Yeah,
Yeah, she got a lot of energy.
She was with the guard right there at the school, and this was over there by Harlem, over there where we took after the law school, where our law picture was at.
Right.
It's right there by the wall down the block from the school, and this is in front of the school, in front of the flag. See. Yeah, I love her so much, man. I brought this couch not too long ago because this got a queen size bed.
Okay,
when she come over, you know what I'm saying, she stays here, you know.
That's pretty.
But you know, she was getting now she's slacking a little bit in her math, you know. But when she get back over here, she get good grades, God. She's smart. Look, she got student of the month.
Peace,
You know.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty.
plus, when she was around me, you know what I'm saying, I was always teaching her, you know, the mathematics. She knows it. She knows it. You know what I'm saying.
Right, man, that's pretty.
She knows mathematics and she knows the alphabets, but like you know, it's like this. I live the culture of our God. Her old earth is 85%. You know what I'm saying? So, you know how children are, and she's like
She's around her whole earth more.
yeah, she's around her earth more, and she's like a child that speaks her minds. So like you know, it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Because I try to break down the science to her earth, and she was like, "Don't teach that to my child no more, cause I don't want her to be going over there, arguing or arguing with me that." The black man is God, and I know this, and that. You know what I'm saying? Cause that's what's gonna happen. So, you know, cause I was trying to let her mother know the difference between, you know, knowing and believing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, she called and told me not to do that no more. That I believe in the spook. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
and not to
okay.
keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Cause of my child, but it's too late. You know what I'm saying?
You
Cause
gave the jewel already.
yeah, she already know it. You know what I'm
She already
saying?
know it, right.
She already know it from A to Z.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So now it's up to her, you know what I'm saying, because she's still a child.
right.
You know what I'm saying? She's gonna be build to destroy. She's build to destroy now. You know what I'm saying? But once she around me, God, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that's peace. That's peace.
It's you know what I'm saying? It's a rapper already. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing knowing and not knowing. You already got a head start. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it that I love about children, like this one too, right here. See, his name is Sun God. His government name is Sun God. You know what I'm saying? That's my Earth's daughter's kid, and hers Dynasty. You know what I'm saying? So you know, the father. You know, it's like he learned the mathematics in one day, Lord, right here. From Nodis to
Whose father?
Born.
His father.
No, the sun god.
Sun God. Sun
Sun
God's
god.
father.
No, so no. Sun god, the the
grandson.
grandchild. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then his dad said, "Oh nah, don't teach him that yet, cause he's too young." I'm like, but his government name is Allah. You know what I'm saying? And then they was like on some funny stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I know if your name was Sun God, I wouldn't name my son that. And I said, but that would have to do with anything. I'm like. Then the other day, you know what I'm saying? His earth core said, I said, but part and soul, that's not my name. My name is Sun God. I said, I don't know if I could call you that.
He said that. He said that to you.
Nah. The earth. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, but we
She said that she don't know if she could call you that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But we built before, you know what I'm saying? My earth, her, and him. You know what I'm saying? Because he said that the way he was teaching it that, you know, is spirituality, but we don't teach it like that. We don't teach spirituality. No, we teach that the original black man is God, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's it. Not with the little G, you know what I'm saying, but with the big G, you know what I'm saying? And most of all, that he's supreme.
That's an English language thing. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That, and most of all, he's supreme, you know what I'm saying? And he's the maker, the owner of the planet Earth, you know what I'm saying? We don't teach like he's a spook or anything like that. That's not in our teachings, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But sometimes they try to mix and dilute it, and it's important that you just stick around and have patience while you building with them too, because the way you describe it sounds like they're interested, but they don't have a complete understanding of it.
Right, and it make me feel sometimes like, you know what I'm saying? Like they want it and then like they don't want it because, you know what I'm saying, before I was teaching the child, I was teaching the mother. And she was grasping onto the mathematics, you know what I'm saying? But then she left. And she had left from here from New York and she went to Atlanta. So she, had to make her life over there. So, she know the signs, man. But, like, it's difficult to, like, have somebody, come to this culture while most of all their life they've been believing in a spook. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't gonna happen overnight. You understand? Because they so indoctrinated with that spook, they feel like, oh man, if I get into that, I'm gonna really burn into hell because they don't believe in God. That's blasphemy. They all gonna burn it.
No,
they all gonna burn in hell. You know what I mean?
That's because these people still have those pins stuck in their head.
In their head, right? That's.
But what I'm saying, to reverse the polarity of that and to see the positive in it is that you see that they're interested. You just gotta give it to them and guide them, and then you say you got babies that's around.
Right.
You know, and the older ones, that you give them what you can, and they take whatever they, whatever
they can grasp,
whatever works for them. But the fact that they, he's naming his son that name, that's something. You know what I'm saying? He may not have complete understanding of it, but understanding comes in time. You see what I'm saying? And that's a start. God, I'm gonna share with you, God. When I was first getting knowledge, and I came around and I told my family my name was Infinite. Of course, there was some backlash, but I noticed that, once I had my peers calling the house and say, peers and speak to Infinite, my old Earth, my grand Earth, my aunts, they responded in a positive way. But I had a bad attitude, God. So I found pleasure in bombing them. You know what I'm saying? Because they was Christian. You know what I'm saying? And I was harsh. Like, nah, it's not like that. And get the pork out the house. And so much that it wound up turning them off. To the point where they was like,
they don't want to be receptive.
Now they're not receptive to it.
Yeah, right.
They're not receptive to the science. So I had to. I wound up having more issues than I was necessary.
Right.
So when you tell me stories like this just tells me you got an opportunity here. You see what I'm saying? My old Earth, my grand Earth, my aunts, they return to the essence. I don't have that opportunity no more to you know what I'm saying? But I did see an opportunity. I just that my own attitude or the way that I handled them was inappropriate in a way today. It was like basically more like, yo, like who you think you are? Like who you think you are? You think you my God? You think you think you better than what I learned? Or you think you better than me, basically?
Okay.
And they
like that.
And they wind up pushing back. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, when I hear those stories, there's an opportunity. It's not they're not getting it all the way right, but at least you got some of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing like when I was raising my son. My son's mother later on started to rebel against me to the point where she even tattooed a cross on her arm and everything, and was trying to put crosses on my son. But I had to move in a current that she couldn't defeat. Like when I'm saying a current that she couldn't defeat in a way, it wasn't always a cold current. It always wasn't a hot current. It was a current that she just couldn't deny, and that my son now. So when my son. You ever meet my son? My son is 22 now. He greets you, peace, God. You know what I'm saying? Peace, God. And my name is Justice I King. And he built like that. So when he called me, that's how he built. Like, peace, God. What's the signs? How you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like he speak the language. He speak mathematics.
Right.
Because he know he was born with this, but then his mother went astray And instead of me making war with her, I just made just make a comparison. Because she even put him in, and I agree with him. I agree she put him in Catholic school. I agree with because I said my teachers could never be defeated by that. So when he went in there, he started learning he had a more focused education, and there was some religion in there. So when he would come home, sometimes he would say certain things that spoke to that in religious environment, and I would say, "Son, do you know what you're talking about? Pay attention. Do the knowledge of that." And that always stuck with him. So now, after he graduated, he's like, "Oh, I don't bear witness to no sky daddy." He said, "I know I'm the original man because I always taught him that." So there was an opportunity there. But if I let it go, he could have been a victim of that system. If I just left it, or if I went to war with it a certain way, I could have turned him off.
Right,
and push him further into that world.
Right, and that's why I, like you said, I try to take it easy on that because she's still a child. You understand? Right. And I know that there's gonna be another opportunity where she's gonna come amongst me, and once I come amongst her, and she come amongst me, I'm always gonna be shining. So to me, it's like no problem. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you learning from two different places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
So one is gonna be more attractive to the other, and then you might get the truth. You're gonna find out the truth from here, and then you're gonna compare it, and you're gonna weigh and judge it yourself. So. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like you say, I won't worry too much about that.
Yeah, no, you just keep building.
Just keep building.
Keep building,
right.
And build positively. You know what I'm saying? To wait.
Don't disparage them.
Right, don't disparage them. Even
right.
the mother.
Right.
Okay, listen, I respect you. I respect how but you want me to respect you, please respect me too. Mm-hmm. And we can move with mutual respect. And if the child sees that, she's gonna respect that, and then the teachers that has the more magnetic is gonna be the one that really attracts.
Right, because I'm gonna show you. I sent the book with the alphabets and everything. I'm gonna show you. So I made a book. For her like this is. This is my book of life. See? My book of life right here. Okay. But this right here. See, this is another book that I got. But this is plus lessons, guys. See? All this is plus lessons. But I got a even bigger book. See? Darkness in the Universe.
So I noticed even here, God, your degrees, right? So after the 1 to 10, you go into what's it? Soteriology. Soteriology, which means the doctrine of salvation. And Buddhism is the philosophy that time moves in cycles, involving periods of destruction and subsequent, which means the coming after. So you got like a plus degree on Buddhism.
Yeah, so I brought that right there is me breaking my own understanding to what I read about this degree. You know what I'm saying? So me having it packed down like that as far as where the year where Buddha was born, and where he was born, that, the year he was born, and that's 520. It says it right here, God, because I don't want to say, but it's in BC. You know what I'm saying? 523 BC. You know what I'm saying? He was born in Nepal. You know what I'm saying? Nepal. Nepal. That's in the region between China and Asia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the Himalayas over there.
You talk about Buddha?
Buddha.
No, because he was born in India.
Right.
See, he's born. Yeah. Nepal is India.
India. Right. Right. Exact.
Yeah.
It's India. True, right. Indeed. But that region is where Mount Everest is at too. You know what I'm saying? On Nepal.
Okay.
That's why I was because I learned that from when Darkem asked the question. For those that say that they know every square inch of it, where's Mount Everest? So I got on
Right,
it.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. I remember the guy adding on about
Yeah.
that.
So the year, and then it's like, you know, when one Buddha appear, another one comes. So that's what it
There's
means.
different Buddhas, right?
There's different Buddhas. Time moves in cycle, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's different philosophy about Buddhism, you know what I'm saying? It's meditating, you know what I'm saying? And one stood by a tree, then other think that he's superior, but there's no avail to him. There's no useful Buddhism. You know what I'm saying? They speak this. They teach the spiritual side of Islam, as far as meditating. You know what I'm saying? Buddha, which was an original man.
Right, right. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, just that his teachings were distorted along the way afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like the followers after him started worshiping idols. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, they had to be exiled 16,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the understanding degree.
Okay, and then from here, this is in essence that ABG told me to read. This is about the Indians. You know what I'm saying? How they break down how they got the Indian confused as the red man. The you know, because a lot of people, I don't subscribe personally to that. You know what I'm saying? I believe that the Indians is the original seeds, the brown and the yellow. That red, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's something else.
That's something else. You know what I'm saying? That's like a
that's
European,
when they get mixed. Yeah.
Like a European thought of racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That I don't subscribe to that one. So this lesson speaks about that. This lesson that ABG told me, and it's long. When that's how I study my 120. I go over all this, and then from here for the 1 to 36, look what I got. You know, back in my time, God, see the greatest story ever told right here. After the 1 to 36, I got it. Right after the 1 to 36, because this was a requirement for you to know this back in the days, God. You had to know this whole thing. You
Somebody was saying that because I didn't. I've read it, but there's some part in there because I don't know about heart. Somebody said that it wasn't right and exact something in this. And I think is this real? Is the one that's written by Beloved?
This is the story about John Hardy Hawkins.
And the greatest story never. The great. Yeah. Okay, no. Okay.
And this goes into the 64-year process and all that, the
Okay.
and all
Yeah,
that.
see, that was the one. The great story never. I thought that was the one. The story of Allah. Okay, I heard that. And somebody else wrote that, and you know, a lot of it was true, but then a lot of it was right, but some of it was incorrect. But honestly, I don't have that lesson. You know what I'm saying? I don't own it, and I don't know about heart.
So this one right here.
So these are more like plus degrees, though.
Yeah,
these are,
plus degrees after the after the 120. You know what I'm saying? That
right, because you
back then it was required for you to know all this. You know what I'm saying? I had all these lessons down pat, God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I still know some of the history of the 64-year process. This is another breakdown that ABG gave me. And then here's the 1 of 14. The 1 of 14 goes all the way here. But there's... how that got that like that. That's weather. Oh, this is the 1 of 40 already, see? This speaks about the weather after the builder destroyed degree, see?
Yeah.
About the Nubius clouds and the woman 6 cipher. And this is another plus degree why, you know what I'm saying, the earth goes at 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour, and then don't travel slower and then don't travel faster. It breaks down the science of all that, you know. It can't. The earth will be defying the laws of gravity if it was to travel faster or slower than her speed. And then just, you know, certain degrees you know, in the 1 of 40 that I have. And then after that, this degree I know by heart because this gotta deal with the creation of the sun. This plus lesson right here. And then I got just the breakdown of the actual facts and solar facts. This is all given to me by ABG. I'm over here with
ABG,
it.
he's known for having all those different degrees.
I'm over here with it, with the actual facts. I saw having it on cap. You know what I'm saying? On how, where the oceans are at, the useful land. That's why the Arctic Ocean is always on these degrees. So it give you the whole breakdown of everything.
Okay, yeah, I may have some of this. Like I said, I never put that on cap per se. Because I got a lot of ABG's degrees. And I didn't get them from him per se. I got them from
different people.
Different people. And now there was a God that returned to the essence.
Like
Jamel Freedom. Jamel Freedom had returned to the essence, and his family left all his lessons in the school.
Oh, okay.
After he returned, his family just must have brought it to the school, and they was like, "Yo, take whatever you want." I grabbed because it was a big box. So I grabbed whatever I could, and I bought it. And I still left a lot there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I grabbed like
this is what I've been trying to put on cap.
Oh, like okay.
You know how you know the light travel to each and every planet.
Right.
You know. That's that. I'm gonna get to that though. You know, first I want to break this whole thing down because this got to do with the solar facts, and this is the ending of it. You know what I'm saying? But this should have been in the beginning, as far as like, you know, the time that the sun hit every planet, and they just this is another. But this is simple. This is something that, you know, the breakdown to the student enrollment, you know what I'm saying? It's just adding and subtracting. That's all it is. And then you got, I like this. I colored this.
Okay, nice.
I colored that.
That's
ABG work, yeah.
Okay.
I colored it though. I like it
dope.
though. Yeah. So you give him the mathematics. See? He looks familiar. That's for not keeping up with the math. Now he's begging. History. There's so much stuff in here, girl. Look. Oh, this was an image that I was trying to draw on my own. I made this.
Oh, so you draw too?
Nah, I don't really draw. I just you know what I'm saying? After I smoked an L, I came up with that idea. Look. I had this in my mind, so I drew it from ABG work. You see what I'm saying?
Right, okay.
Yeah. He got a lot of stuff here, God. Look at that.
Yeah, space.
Oh, now that I'm here, right? Let me show you how far I have got. Well, I wrote the whole 120, right, in Spanish. But let me show you. This is the supreme mathematics. Just a few words that I gotta correct. See, this is how far I've been with the work, as far as typing it out. See, I got it in Spanish. It's just a correction of the words that I gotta type over.
Why? What do you mean? Is the correction of the words? Like you spelled them wrong?
I misspelled them. Yeah. Okay. So see, they all circle. That's the 1 of 36.
So who corrected you on the spelling?
The home attendant here.
Oh.
I gave it to her to read.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So I said, you know, you could read this? And she said, yeah. So she started reading it and she said, you spelled that wrong word. What that word? What you mean by that? I said, so this. And she said, okay, so you spelled this. She just did the correcting in the words, in the spelling of the words.
Okay. So you know how to speak Spanish, but some of the words you don't know how to spell all the way.
Spell correctly, and this is
right.
And this is the 1 of 14 that the God, Lord Infinite, got for me from that he wrote. Well, basically it's the same as mine. You know what I'm saying? It's just a few two or three words different from his.
You said wilderness was different.
Wilderness, and then the knowledge degree in the 1 of 14 he has situado, and I had asiéntate, which is the same significance of the word. We came to an agreement with it, you know what I'm saying? But he was right, you know what I'm saying? Because I asked the Dominican lady, I said, you ever heard about the word situado? And she said, yeah, that means when you settled. You know what I'm saying?
This is the knowledge degree of the 1 of 14.
Yeah, the 1 of 14. So I never heard it till I asked her, and she said, yeah, I heard of that word because I Googled it, you know what I'm saying? And it gave me a different significance. It says asiéntase, like, which means settle. So it's two. It's two. You see how the language is trickery, but you gotta have the same meaning. Because you don't want to distort this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
As long as you got the same meaning to it and you come to an agreement, I don't see no problem with it.
Right. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. There's different dialects.
See how see how he got it here? Yaku, and over here he got it Jacobo.
Okay, Jacob, yeah. Let's see.
And this is big. The whole 1 of 14 took mad pages. We got this, he got his own 1 of 14, see? That's why he's like, you said right here, when I made an error and you corrected me, he don't want to put this out, you know what I'm saying? But I validated it. We both validated it. He said he don't want to put it out because of that. But to me, everything is right.
Okay, wait,
he just don't want to put it out there like that because he know how it is.
Because people gonna scrutinize.
Schools and not just that, you know what I'm saying? Different
dialects.
Different dialects
of Spanish.
And he said people's gonna come for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think that the brother's a little bit shy and being in the camera. You know what I'm saying? Or going through the sciences like that. But besides that, me and the brother be building, you know what I'm saying? We don't be building like we used to build every day. I don't call him like that no more. But, we still add on and stuff like that. He wanted to make a class, you know what I'm saying? A teaching the 120 in Spanish, but we got to get students first, God. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't be, how will you look like me sitting up in the class in a law school, just me and you? Building. We need students. Who, me and you could build doing this in a video all day, you know what I'm saying? But we need students to be in a class. If you want to have a class, you need students. You just can't have an empty class, right, God?
Sure.
So that's what I say. Teach it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's right and exact, and teach it right and exact, because you're gonna get schools and how you say the word, God?
Schools of thought? What?
No, school is
scrutinize.
Schools are nice.
Scrutinize.
Schools are nice.
Scrutinize.
Scrutinize.
Yeah. So like scrutiny, you like say
scrutiny.
Scrutiny. So scrutinize.
Scrutinize.
Yes.
So if you don't want to get scrutinized, you better have the signs right.
Peace, God.
If you don't want nobody getting in your Lord Savior,
right.
You better come with it correct. You know what I mean? Teach it right. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? Even in me saying that Islam is the culture of our God, but it's God in my Lord Savior. You know, because the Islam is the culture of our God, but then the God told me, so just the culture of our God. What about the earths and the and the seas?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So he says, if you're gonna teach it right and exact. You know what I'm saying? They teach Islam is the culture of our God, the earth, and because this is a universal family. You know what I'm saying? We got the earths in our nation, and we got the seas. You know what I'm saying? So it's the culture of our universal family. Because I love the video when Doc Kim say, hold on, God. Do the knowledge. This what we teach here. When the other brother tried to speak for the other one, he said, hold on, God. This what we teach here. Do the knowledge. This what we teach here. You know what I'm saying? But first of all, you said you only speak for yourself, but now you want to speak for him.
Right.
Yo, the gods be doing that knowledge, God. You know what I'm saying? That's what we here for. You know what I mean?
Praise God. Praise.
That's why nobody could run game on us, because at the end of the day, we know who everybody is.
Right.
We know we the 5, you the 85, and you the 10. So at the end of the day, you can't run no G on a G.
Right.
Right.
Praise God.
Peace.
You got anything else you want to add on, God?
Now that's
Yeah, that was a wonderful bill, God.
that was a wonderful bill. I just wanted to take you through the over here through the wall so you can see the picture of, so I can show you the picture right here that I got about Farad right here.
Oh, you got some.
Yeah, right here, God. You know what I'm saying? I bought that one time when I was going to the school.
Who had that in school?
No, some Muslim down the block. You know where they sell books.
Okay.
When you come from the back of the school, that there be some brothers selling. So they had this there, so I grabbed it. You know what I'm saying? Because of that and the profit.
Yeah, some brothers ain't.
They don't bear mind to that. I took it to the school. Dr. Kim looked at it. He said, "It's alright." You know what I'm saying? He said he's alright. You know what I'm saying? He said because a lot of brothers don't like Farrakhan.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't like Farrakhan. I got this up here, and then this I found in a fish tank.
Oh,
snap. You know what I'm saying? Moses. That I found it in the 99.
Somebody depicted as Moses with dreads and then.
Yeah, and that.
See, God, like.
That I don't like all the Christianity stuff in it, but at least they know Jesus is black, and there's a black image instead of a white Jesus in the house.
Right. But I just
don't like. I understand where you coming from.
Yeah.
Even though we teach that he was one of our righteous brothers, but all this Christianity cross shit, that shit got to go.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the cross is a Roman symbol, and the whole thing with the Jesus as a baby, and then the Roman is a Roman culture. It's just the lens that it's put in.
And this right here, I wanted to show you. This is a part right where we all gonna go to. Where this is where my earth got all the people that's deceased. You see what I'm saying? That's my old earth here. All of us is gonna be deceased, you know what I'm saying? But she got all this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then this right here, come here. This another thing that I fight with. You know what I'm saying? All things I do it.
Okay, see, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The indoctrination still, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So
and the anointed one.
See.
And the anointed one, but I keep the mathematics live here, but they, you know what I'm saying? She still got the mystery God. She still got the mystery God, but she know the original black man's God.
Yeah, I mean, you just dealing with. You deal with it how you gotta deal with it. You know what I'm saying? This is your universe and how you deal with it. You make your heaven for yourself and how it's gonna work for you. You get what I'm saying? So But I appreciate you, God, for inviting me into your home, God. I appreciate you, adding on with
anytime,
you.
God.
Yeah, God. This was a piece, God. And I always like building with you, God, because I see the level of sincerity in you, and when you started coming to Doc Kim's class, and you was adding on, and you going through your lessons and your sincerity, and you just
God. I had it. It's like like the brother said, you gotta come to the foundation to get it right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So because brother, just to give somebody, like I explained it to you, a set of 120 and tell them to go on about your business, maybe that's not the correct way to give brothers a knowledge of self.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta walk them through certain things and let them know himself. You know what I'm saying? And have him have his own experience with it. and walk them through it.
Walk them through it, right?
Yeah,
right.
walk them through it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But basically, all the history, man, is recorded. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you for that.
Well, peace, God. I mean, this is what I do, God, and I, add on. I see you allow me coming to your universe, and I can see that, because we all got our own struggles,
Right?
So, you telling me about, your situation and your universe with your woman and everything.
That's all the
children, children stuff.
That's her art.
Right. Look out, but it's peace though. You know what I'm saying? Like
she loved to express herself. Look at all the stuff
I see that you are building, even though there are challenges. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, there's still some Christianity, still something, but you still building and maintaining a level of peace.
Right.
So God, peace to you for that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure those who are watching could appreciate that, because I'm pretty sure some people are going through that same thing as well.
Right.
Some people may have it more together, some less. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, you still building and elevating and maintaining and sustaining your universe.
Right. True.
And that's what's most important. That's what this culture is about.
Right.
This mathematics is about. It's about you maintaining and sustaining, building. I could see with the naked eye that you building. You know what I'm saying? So, peace to you, God. And I appreciate, that you invited me to your home and add on.
Anytime, God. You want you to mi casa su casa.
Peace, God. Peace.
Peace,
Almighty. Peace.
That's the God, Allah Shah, that teaches the 120 classes. You know what I'm saying? Right here, that's me in the bottom, and that's the older God that be there all the time. I forget his name.
Arif, that's Arif.
Arif, yeah. And then it's the God Powerful there, one of his students. This was like 10 months ago. I got the date right there.
Oh, no, that's like 2020. That's
2020, yeah.
Yeah, that's like 2 years ago.
Yeah, a couple of moons ago.
Yeah.
And this when the epidemic first hit, that's the God Mahdi.
Oh, okay. Mahdi,
yeah.
Mahdi,
Remember
okay.
He used to be in the ciphers with us?
Right, that's Dark Chem right
and
there.
And that's Dark Chem and the God that teaches the boxing on Sundays.
Okay, yeah. Rason.
Rason, yeah.
Sincere. Rason, peace.
And then I got the alphabets over there.
Okay, peace.
This is where the little queen used to come out every morning and do the knowledge to them, and that's how she got them. That's how she learned them right there.
Peace.
She used to be right here, so she had them in front of her all the time.
Peace, God. Well, peace to you and your universe, God.
That's peace.
Peace, God. You know what I'm saying? This was a good experience. I knew it was gonna be a dope build with you. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I see you, you know what I'm saying? I see a lot of positive energy. You know what I'm saying? I see that you positive energy and sincerity. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, keep building, God. Keep building. You know what I'm saying? And I said, I know that people watching this will benefit from our build, our exchange, or the daily quality.
You know, that's true indeed. And a lot of the videos that inspire me too, man, was with them. Remember when the brothers was confronting Born Mastermind, when he was doing all that bullshit? All that took effect on me, man, because, you know what I'm saying, I started hearing about, we're not allowed to eat chicken. I said, hold on, what's going down there? What's going down there? So I had it, you know what I'm saying, reappear, you know what I'm saying, and find out what was going on, because, people be trying to put stuff inside the culture that's not supposed to be there. They want to make their own rules. But then you always got the true and living God that's not going to allow you to do that. And that's why when you look at those videos and stuff like that, you see the intensity. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I would say this. Now, Bull Master, he had a lot of good points, but he also had a lot of points that was off. So this is important why you should do your own research. Because he had a lot of good points, but he also had a lot of points that was like, yo, what are you talking about?
Plantango.
Oh, that's the
about the plant that grows everywhere. It's beneficial to us.
That was an interesting, bill about the plantago. I think is it Pantego Major or
Pantego Major, yeah. He said that it grows around the sidewalk and everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something to draw up. And I think that's beneficial. But he said some other things, and he kind of was getting into eugenics. That was, going into, you know, Yakub science. He was going somewhere else, but
you was getting beside yourself.
Right. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? But but I'm glad that you was able to get something out of it.
Yeah, it impacted me in a big way because you know what I'm saying. I'm here to the day I've been like it makes me think about like the people that try to come in and put create just create ideas that don't go according with our way of life. And the brothers wasn't so intense of it because it's some things that don't change. You just can't come over here and thinking that you're gonna make this different. That's not gonna happen for nobody because brothers is on point. You know what I'm saying? And the true and living they see because what's his name? Perfection, right? His name is Born Perfection.
Yeah.
He dissected quick. You know what I'm saying? He put a stop to it quick. You know what I'm saying? And then what I like about the God that he said, but now you want to speak. Before when they asked you a question, you said you want to speak for yourself.
Right.
So we on point. You know what I'm saying? You can't run no game on us because anything that you slipped up, we right there on you. We see it. You know what I mean? That's what's beautiful about this. We could detect.
Peace, God.
Peace.
I want to say like 2007, 2008, 2009. And, at that time I was very, social media was still young, but I was very uncomfortable with trying to build online and things like that.
Right.
Until, I want to say like 2020. And what was interesting is that those brothers specifically, there was like a handful of brothers that kept contact with me and kept asking me, what does this mean? What does that mean? Can you show me this? Can you show me that? So, I don't know what got into me. I think it was me coming back into the country after I lived abroad for a little bit. That I was like, you know what? I want to travel, and I would love to expose as many as I could to this knowledge to the best of my ability, and make it relevant for them. So I reached out to the brothers out of Mexico, and I was like, listen, I would love to plan a trip out there, man. And why don't you gather up some of those brothers that you that were interested in that, always flocked in your cipher, and we'll get together and we'll start building, man. And when I started doing that, the hip hop scene is a very big scene in Latin America. They really are into that boom bap, authentic, hip hop from the roots.
Okay.
And one of the brothers that I was building with back in like the early 2000s, he was from Spain. And I remember giving him mathematics, alphabet, and I remember buying Message to the Black Man for him. And me and him, we had a good relationship, and the dude blew up musically. I mean, like he blew up. He was touring Latin America. He stopped by law school. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember him stopping there during the tour. And I was like, damn, man, this brother is bigger. Like, to me, he was just like, hey, how you doing? Everything good? It was just a regular A, B, and C conversation.
Right.
And, he ended up, touring the world. And I was like, wow. And because of that, he exposed a lot of people. The name of his album was 5%. That was the name, that was the name of his album. And I did the introduction to his album. I did not realize how big that album was going to be and how big his music was. And how much of an influence that he was going to have, not only in Mexico, but in Colombia, in Argentina, in Venezuela. And little did I know that there was already a cipher in Venezuela that was brewing and growing. Because one of the brothers that I used to attend classes with at a law school, Sharif, he moved out there. He moved out there in the early 2000s. I want to say like 2002, 2003. And he started building out there. And ironically, it really is a small world as much as we want to look at it from a large spectrum. one of those brothers who was part of that cipher in Venezuela moved to Mexico City while I was building with the brothers in Mexico. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. I was like, the coincidence is insane, man. I was like, yo, I'm on my way in like 3 weeks. I'm on my way to Mexico City. I was like, why don't you meet up with the brothers out there and, we'll have a cipher. And that's basically how I just started building with a lot of brothers who were interested in the knowledge. And I remember building with a brother from the Canary Islands, a couple of people from Mexico, quite a bit of people from Colombia, quite a bit of people from Venezuela, and quite a bit of people from Argentina. Now, my background is, I come from a Cuban household, but I come from up north. I come from Jersey, so although I come from a Cuban house, I'm very like near Rican, so to speak, culturally speaking. You know what I mean? Because I was exposed to that world, you know. And so that being said, and then being exposed to the knowledge at the root of civilization, I ended up kind of connecting these brothers and building on WhatsApp. We created a cipher together on WhatsApp, and I was like, listen, let's share ideas because I know and understand that the Spanish language, how it traveled to all these different places, came in different like forms and dialects. So let's try to create like some type of cipher so that because even though I got knowledge at the root and things like that, I'm not a self-centered person, God, and I'm not egotistical. I don't like to fucking put myself in the center of attention, man. That's not my forte. I deal with 360. I deal with understanding the equality of the cipher. I deal with everybody plays their part. So everybody's always hitting me up, talking about, yo, can you teach me? I'm like, listen, you have somebody in your area that I taught. You don't need to learn from me directly. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of brothers in this nation who they just need to have that number of students. You know, I wrote in my Instagram page, I wrote, today's mathematics is equality, not equantity. It's not about how many fucking people you got under your belt. It's about the quality of people that you roll with. You know? So that being said, when I built with these brothers, I was like, listen, man, once you got student enrollment, you are a student enrolled. You have responsibilities. I'm not going to fucking take the responsibility of showing all these people that want to learn mathematics if you got mathematics. And I'm not going to go through the alphabet if you got the alphabet. I went through it with you, so your responsibility is to do the same to them. Because I live in reality. I got bills to pay. I got babies. I got a life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stop everything so I can continuously repeat the same thing that I just said to you to the next person because that person wants to learn, but they in your vicinity. You have access to that person. So why are you giving me that responsibility? Like, everything is real, man. I'm not trying to carry all that weight. You know what I mean? I'm not a martyr. I'm not nobody's, like, I'm not the center of attention. I don't need to be all that. So everybody needs to play their part. So that being said, when I built with these brothers, I said, listen, Argentina, you got one of the most unique accents and dialects to the Spanish language. I would like for you to add on to this idea that I have. I reached out to the brothers in Colombia, reached out to the brothers in Venezuela, reached out to the brother in Mexico, myself being a part of it, and then the brother in the Canary Islands who also had access to the Spain dialect. And I was like, what we could do is we could create a little bit of a council between us, and we can learn like how to decipher these lessons. I'll give you to the best of my ability to understand it, because a lot of the concepts I need you to understand. You know what I mean? And from those concepts, we'll go and we'll translate it together so that it's not all on me. It's not 120 degrees translated by infinite mind. Nah, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean? And when I started building with these brothers, we got up to our culture degree in the 1 to 14. And when we got to there, that's kind of where certain differences started to come into play on how the ciphers was being run. So since then, I kind of I took a little bit of a step back, and I was like, listen, there's 4 of y'all who has gotten to the 1 to 14. Everybody else, you know, they still in the up and coming. I'm not gonna rush you guys And I'm not gonna, at the same time wait for these people to do what they gotta do. So y'all figure it out for now, and then when the time is good and everybody's in a good position, we'll come to retranslating it again. So that this way it's not all on me, and I'm not just bringing my perspective to the table, because there's a lot of perspectives on not only translating, but there's a lot of history to this nation that didn't come from one source. So that's another important factor as well. So that's kind of what happened. Like we got to the 1 to 14, the culture degree, and one of the reasons we stopped is because some of the words in the culture degree, like we ran the devil, like to run someone or to run something, it's a different way of explaining it. A correr, corrimos.
Right.
Like it's kind of, it gets weird at that point. And I started to find those things in like the wisdom degree in a 1 to 10.
Right.
When it talked about who's the colored man. If you literally translated it, it says "Quién es el hombre de color," but literally, el hombre de color is the man of color. So
Right.
who is the man of color? That's not correct. It's actually not linguistically correct. So I looked a little bit in the dictionary and I was like, yo, did y'all know that there's a word called descolorado? Descolorado means to decolor, because that's what the word colored in the wisdom degree means. Colored doesn't mean that something was colored in. It was that it was decolored. It was denatured. The color was taken away from. So, one, understanding Elijah Muhammad, 4th grade level education, understanding the language of what it was to be a black man in 1930s to 1934, right? Understanding American culture and black American culture in the 1930s, and then from a 4th grade educated person like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who came from a biblical background. I believe that his father was a minister, and he was, at least that's what he said with his own mouth, that he was himself a Freemason, So understanding that level of education, understanding that level of dialect, and then trying to translate it in 2020, to a Spanish audience. Those were the things that I had to kind of we had to discuss. Because I'm like, we can't say man of color, because that's not what the wisdom degree is talking about. The wisdom degree is not talking about a man of color. Because a man of color is one who has different colors, different pigments, different tones. But descolorado means it was a decolored man, and the color was stripped from. And then that's kind of what the lesson is talking about. So, and I'm just giving you a small example, God. There's really a lot more examples. It wasn't easy to get to the 1 to 14, but this is kind of the discussions. I just wanted to give you an idea of the discussions that we had amongst ourselves and how we translated it, so that it wasn't, it's not just coming from one source. In other words,
It's coming from all different sources then.
Right.
Okay.
So can you build with him a add on, like how you was telling me that you had translated the degree?
Yeah, cause I when I wrote the first degree and translated in the student enrollment, right? Es quién es el hombre original. El hombre original es el nombre negro asiático. I had first el fabricante, and then the God just looked at me and said fabricante, like what I'm saying, because I was looking for a word of the makeup. So when I say fabricante, they both at me like, nah, that's not, that don't go in there. So me and the God, Lord Infinite, and there was another God there named Freedom. No sé, so we put el que hace, el dueño, la crema del planeta Tierra, padre de civilizaciones y Dios del universo. So I say, that's more, translating it right there word for word.
Right.
So.
And y'all had a problem with el fabricante because it sounds like fabricate.
Yeah, that's what I put that word up in there. And the God Infinite and Freedom, they looked at me like, Nah, cause that sound like fabricate. It do, but basically that's what it really means. You know what I'm saying? Cause I was looking for a word to make it. So when they put, you know, when he said el que hace on that, but basically he put it in what the word literally means.
So I actually like that, y'all, because I got it from the gun. So what I'm gonna do, and I'm glad that we had this conversation. I'm gonna actually, because I didn't consider that, you see, and that's why it's good to have everybody's perspective on. I'm gonna actually put el que hace, right, and then I'm gonna build with the brothers who were part of that cipher, and I'm gonna be like, yo, listen, we got a new perspective. What do y'all think about in this bill, right? Like, I'm gonna give you another example. The 12th letter in the supreme alphabet, L, love, hella, right. We originally had amor, infierno, or justo, but that's actually not good. It's not a good translation, because justo, right, means to be right, right? But we're not talking about being right. We're talking about righteousness. So we actually changed it as a council to amor, infierno, o rectitud, because rectitud means to stand upright. So that's how we translated that. And then we discussed it, and we was like, word, that actually does make more sense. And then we went into that little translation right there. So that was dope that you gave me the fabricante, because that kind of went over my head.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, and the knowledge wisdom degree, love hella right. I got amor, that's love, hell, infierno, or derecho. That's how I have it. Yeah, that's
Right.
love hella right, derecho.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that intro too, but rectitud just sounded more phonetically.
And
Phonetically sounding like it sounded like, okay, now that sounds a little bit closer.
long as it's not changing the idea, I agree with it, God.
Right, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Long as it's not changing the idea, it's right and exact.
Right. What do you have for like the understanding degree when it says the what is the population of the original nation in the wilderness? What do you have for wilderness?
Oh,
'Cause
that's what I was building with the God that wrote his 1 to 10, and I wrote my 1 to 10. I got for wilderness, I got a desierto, and
okay.
and
Desierto,
uh-huh.
like desert, right?
Yeah, it's like a desert, but that's the closest word that I looked up when I googled it, because the God Lord Infinite had put selva, and selva is a jungle.
Right. I'm gonna give you another word and look this word up, because it means wilderness. Yermo.
Yermo, yeah, I seen that one too, Yermo.
Yeah, so we put Yermo, and we discussed all those three words in that small group of people. We discussed all three of those words that you just said right now, which is desierto, which sounded more like desert.
Right.
Selva was more of a jungle, so it was like, nah, that don't make no sense. And then I found Yermo. I presented it to them, and I was like, what do y'all think about this word? And then they looked it up and was like, yeah, that actually does make sense. And so we use Yermo in that one.
Yeah, but that's good, God, because you're not changing the idea.
Right.
Like you see, because the thing about Spanish is that the words change slightly. Like, look, Puerto Ricans say cosa, and the Dominicans what they say vaina. Long as you're not changing the significance and it's the same meaning to the word, that's how we'll be able to translate it, because words change like that in Spanish.
Facts. So is Mecca with you? Mecca, you
Yeah, he right here.
Yeah.
All right, I want you to hear something, right? So the God come from a Boricua background, right? And I come from a Cuban background. Our Spanish, even though it's the same, is mad different, right? But some of our Spanish words are not even from Spain. They from like an African indigenous original dialect. So I'm gonna say a word to the God, and he's gonna tell you what it means, and I'm gonna tell you what it means in Cuba, right? Yo, God, what does the word bicho means in Puerto Rico?
Dick.
Right. It means bug. It means bug in Cuba, God. It means
A bug.
insect. It means insect. And that's not a Spanish word. That's not a Spanish word. That's an indigenous word. You know what I mean? Another word that we use is que hola. That's a Cuban thing, que hola, which means what's up.
Yeah.
I said it is not a Spanish word. I said it is like, that's my dude, that's my fan, that's my brother. I said it. There's no such word. It's a made-up Cuban dialect word that most likely comes from an indigenous group of people. This is the reason I say that, because this is the reason why I thought it important to have a council as opposed to an individual trying to translate the lessons. Because if I sit here and I give you a fucking Cuban version of the lessons, you're gonna be like, hey, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because culturally, even though there's a of course there's a familial similarity, and there's a lot of fucking parallels with Puerto Rican and Cuban culture. That's fucking obvious, but there's also some of the things that like the words that I just said that would completely throw you off. Because if I was in a family barbecue, and we were in a family barbecue right now, and I'm in the God's family barbecue, and I'm like, there's an insect flying around me, and I'm like, get that damn bicho de mi cabeza. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, that's interesting, God. You know, because I was just going back and forth with an 85. I was telling God about the Bible and the different translations of the Bible and the different cultures that it went through, and how those words can mean different things. And then culturally, just like the word virgin in Hebrew really just means a young woman,
A young woman.
a young lady. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you get into like the Roman culture, it means one who hasn't had sex. So you know what I mean? Like the language, like you got to be real careful, and through the translations and interpretations is when a lot of confusion can happen. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be very careful with that.
That's another reason why I thought it'd be important to have a council as opposed to an individual, God. And just to give you an idea of my background, God, I was fortunate enough, you know what I mean, to study at a university level. You know, I'm a high school dropout, God, but I did drop back in. I got my high school diploma, and I was fortunate enough to get into college. And when I got into college, I did study social science and history. But when I got out of college, I became a teacher. And when I became a teacher, I started to look for certifications that would help me in my career at that time. And I not only got my teacher certification, but I also got an ESL or an ESEO certification, which is teaching English as a second language or teaching English as a foreign language. And I've taught adult high schools where many people, I taught them how to speak English. I taught them how to speak English, how to read English, and how to write in English. And much of what I've learned, and the difficulty of learning something like an English language, you know, and with that certification, because I do have an academic background in it, you know, like I'll give you an example. There, and there. I'm giving you three words that are the same, but they're spelled differently and they mean completely different things.
Right. Correct.
If I told you, yo, God, I got chased by a bat the other day, the first thing in your head, right? Because you from New York, you'll be like, what the fuck? You was down by the Italian niggas who used to carry bats on the fucking stoops, and they used to, I was by a cave, and a fucking rodent flew out the cave and the motherfucker chased me while I was running down the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm using what is called a homonym or a homophone, whatever the fuck that terminology is. It's the same word, but it means completely different fucking things. You know what I mean? So, understanding that, this is one of the reasons why I'm very careful with the translation, and the whole 120 is not translated yet. Now, you're going to have a brother, I'm not going to mention his name, because I'm not like that. I'm not going to throw dirt on nobody's name, but I'm going to keep it real. I gave this person the same lessons that we were translating, and he took it upon himself to translate the entire 120 on his own. He never acknowledged 120, right? And he just, I'm not negating him. right? I don't want to give you a bad version of why he did what he did. He did what he did because he wanted it done, and he wanted to teach it because we have work to do. Where I told him, calm the fuck down. We don't need to be moving that fast. Everything will happen in its time, right? So I don't think he's wrong, but he's wrong. But I have to tell you that he's wrong, right? I don't completely believe in my heart that he's completely wrong, but he's wrong because I gave you the lessons for us to translate in this group, not for you to take it and translate it on your own.
Well, does he make? Is he teaching it as the standard, or is he teaching it as, this is?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know,
see, but that's important. That's important. That's
exposed to a lot of people in this nation who say if you got it this way, you didn't get it right, and I don't need to elaborate.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So,
I mean, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of people like that too.
Exactly.
Right.
And if there's one thing that me and you understand, and that's why I fucks with you, Mecca, is that we understand that Allah, and when I say Allah, I'm speaking specifically right now about the father of this nation. He taught many people, and he taught them so fucking different. It's ridiculous at how masterful he was at his art and his scientific fucking methodology of teaching, that he was like, I'm going to teach you what you need. Because if you need this, then that's what I'm going to give you. If you got refinement in your math, it's because you needed it. I know that because I spoke to these people personally. And I've been around those who walked with Allah. And I've been around those who walk with Allah who have refinement and those who don't have refinement. And you know what? They're both fucking right. They're both right. Because Allah was a masterful teacher. And his pedagogy, meaning his science and his art of teaching, was so fucking fantastic that he even fucking taught a motherfucking cracker like Barry Gothers and got him to allow him to get shit and from the city for him, and like up to Mayor Lindsay was like, yo, we gotta call Allah. We gotta call him when we got an issue in Harlem. We gotta call Allah. So that's how skillful he was. That he was able to tread in the system, get what he needed from the system, go to these specific brothers, get what he needed from them, get what he was a masterful teacher. He knew how to teach you based on what you needed to know and what you needed to apply in your life specifically. I always said that supreme mathematics is conceptual, not contextual. It's not confined to the English language. It is universal language. That's why we are able to translate it into different languages, because the same people who built the pyramids in Mexico came from the same mindset and culture that the people who built the pyramids in Egypt and Kemet, ancient Kemet, right? The same base measurement of the base measurement of the solar or sun pyramid in Egypt is the same exact measurement of the sun pyramid in Mexico City in the city of Teotihuacan. Same exact measurement. And yet these people allegedly never fucking spoke with each other. Why? Because they understood supreme mathematics. They understood the culture of mathematics, what me and you call Islam. But we know as Islam as I sincerely love Allah, mathematics, I self-lord and master, I stimulate life and matter, I study life around me. However we draw it up, we know and understand that it's a concept and not a context. That's why we don't get caught up in Islam as a religion. Because we understand concept means an idea that was translated. No matter what language you speak, yo, God, let me ask you a question, right? Do you think you can go, and this is for both of y'all, do you think you can go and start quoting the power degree in the 1 to 10 in Mexico, in fucking Zanzibar, in South Africa, in fucking China? Do you think you can quote it as is, and people gonna look at you like, oh yeah, that's right?
Yeah, man. The power degree, 196,940,000 square miles?
No. You know why?
I don't.
Think about why do you think they'll look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Either they don't know if they don't know the measurements, or they don't know the language of.
Exactly, dog.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh, so you're saying how it's said, like 196,940,000 square miles.
God.
Right.
They deal with the metric system. They are dealing with meters.
Okay.
They're not dealing with the so-called standard.
Okay.
Think about it. Let's get into language, God, because I'm gonna get into language because I told you I really study language. When I study the lesson that sticks out to me the most, right? There's two lessons. One is my favorite lesson, and one that sticks out to me the most. My favorite lesson is the knowledge degree in the 1 of 14. Have you not heard that your word is born regardless of who? Right? The power of the word. And the culture degree in the 1 of fucking 36 is the lesson that always comes into play every time I have a discussion with somebody, because he does not speak his own language. Because we go into fucking Germany talking about, yeah, the planet Earth is 196,940,000 square miles, and they looking at you like, what the fuck is a mile? What are you talking about, my man? We don't fucking deal in miles. The United States is one of the only countries that deals in this system of measurement. And you know what they call this system of measurement? They call it the standard or the imperial system of measurement. Think about the word standard and think about the word imperial. Standard means that this is the exact one, this is the right one, fuck everybody else's. This is standard, right? And the imperial means that this is the top notch of all fucking measurements. Are you fucking high as a kite, dude? Did you know that in ancient Mexico they didn't even deal with the metric system? And they don't have a name for what they use to measure, but they know that there was a measurement, a system of measurement that they know it's equal to this in miles and in meters, but they don't know what to call it. So they actually call it TMS, Teotihuacan metric system. That's what they call it. And you take a metric ruler, and then they add a specific number on top of the metric ruler. It orders their system of measurements. This is the reason why we have 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour on the planet Earth. Because we don't know what the system of measurement was in history, that they probably had a whole fucking number. And here we are dealing in fractions and fucking decimals. You know what I mean? This is the science of the English language. The science of the English language is meant to confuse people, God. This is why we say one thing and sometimes it means something other than what we say. Culturally speaking, if you go to, and this happened, I'm speaking from experience. Growing up in Jersey, I remember somebody from Los Angeles. I was a teenager at that time. They moved to Jersey. And they were talking in their slang, and they actually were offending my peoples around them. Now, because, at that time, even though I didn't have knowledge of myself, I was still somewhat righteous. I was trying to prevent my people from fucking jumping this dude, because he was using fool. Yo, man, this fool, hey, fool. And my people got offended by that. And I was like, yo, but that's how they speak, chill. Right? And this is language, God. This is just cultural language based on where you from, how I'm from up north, God. We say, what up, my nigga, what's good? Down here, I don't talk like that. I feel uncomfortable talking like that. I'm like, yo, this is weird down here, man. I can't even talk. I can't be how I am up north. I can't be like myself down here because it's fucking weird. Culturally speaking, they have a different history down here. It's just a different world. So I have to respect it and be like, yo, listen, I'm not originally from here, so I'm gonna adapt to the land that I'm from. You know what I mean? So that being said, just understanding language and the differences in language, even when we're speaking the same language, it shows how difficult it is sometimes to translate things contextually.
Right.
However, we deal with the best part, which is the understanding. Because understanding is to see things clearly for what they are, not what they appear to be. Not what they appear to be. And the language is just how it appears to be. It's just how it sounds. It's just how it, that's why when we build and we come to an understanding, we see what is called, how do we say it? We say eye to eye, right? That's one mind. Because we build it with the mind. We know that we're not just dealing with the physical phonetic sound that's coming out of my mouth. We're not just dealing with the physical language. We're dealing with something more, we're dealing with something supreme. That's what we do. We're dealing with the highest form of it. And the highest form of it cannot be confined to language. It can only be translated from. It's like, alright, I'm gonna tell you something about translation, right? If Beethoven created a symphony using the piano and using scales can write musical notes based on the symphony that he created, you're telling me I can't play the same motherfucking tune with a violin or a guitar or a different instrument that uses the same number of keys and shit like that?
Absolutely.
Now cipher, God. Right?
Yeah,
Or
you
am I
can.
bugging out?
No, you could play. Yeah, you could play. Yeah, you could play.
Right.
Because that's what I do. I'll take something that's written in piano by Beethoven and translate it into guitars and strings.
Right. You a music man, huh? You know sound. You know what I'm talking about. You produce. You
Right.
made music. You understand scales. You understand. Let me take you. You work now with digital programs that you can write the music or play the chord on a piano, and then translate that piano chord into a fucking scale and be like, you know what? Let me change the instrument of the same fucking shit I just played, but with a different fucking instrument. You know what I mean? And that's what we doing with language. Now, let me ask you a question. Is the understanding being lost when you do that?
I wouldn't say no. I wish. Why would it?
Exactly. So, I say that, for those who frown upon us translating lessons or mathematics or supreme alphabet into, if there's one thing that I tell people all the time when I translate it, especially the people from these countries, I'm like, yo, no one understand this is an English language. It's English language. It's English lesson C1 for a reason. I'm not gonna give you Spanish lesson C1 because who the fuck am I? I'm giving you what was given to us to study. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna fucking write the history of fucking Francisco Pizarro or Hernan Cortez or fucking. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. That's not.
Well, I mean,
that's
you
not
could.
my-
Be that would be.
I put it on 120, God.
Oh right, you would no. It wouldn't be a part of 120. It wouldn't be a part of 120, but it'd be your understanding. Like, okay, well, I got an understanding from like because we built on this before. Like, the English C lesson is English, but people from of Spanish heritage have a different history. So
Right.
like
Let me ask you a question, Mega. Let me ask you a question, God. And God, sun God, you still there? I want you to retort, not retort in a rebuttal form, but I want you to add on to what Mega's answer, right? So Mega, this is my question to you. It's a very simple question. Why was the supreme wisdom lessons given to the North American Negro and not to motherfucking Brazilians who had more African diaspora people in Brazil than there were in North America? Why was it specifically designed
the English,
for the North
the English,
black man?
the English, the American Negro needed it more. He was in an ill position or ill condition.
Thank you, God. Sun God, do you agree with that, or do you have a different understanding of that, God?
Well, I was reading that book, and I know that in Brazil, the majority. That's why when you ask the question, that the majority of original people, it was a continent that there were more original people there, in North America. But yeah, the question, I I think both of them needed it. They were both lost.
Right. All right. So let me add on to that. Right. One of the reasons why I think, and I'm not telling you that I'm right, but this is my study, coming from an academic background of my bachelor's degree is in African studies with a concentration in history and political science. That is my background, right? And then growing up in a Cuban household, one of the reasons why I think, and I'm not telling you that I'm right, why I think that the knowledge was brought over to the North American black man in the 1930s, as opposed to maybe the Cuban, the Puerto Rican, or the Brazilian, is because culturally speaking, right, the black man in the Caribbeans and in Central South America still had a part of their culture, their African culture, attached to them. Because even though the Catholic religion imposed the laws of chattel slavery, and they did change the name of the so-called of the black man, the so-called slave. They did change the identity, right? They still allowed them to practice some of their African heritage beliefs. In Brazil, Yoruba is extremely popular. The fact that I even know some African dialect, right, it says it all to me. This is one of the reasons, because outside of Louisiana, outside of New Orleans, which was a French colony, the English settlement did not allow. They ruled with a motherfucking iron hand, right? That biblical quote that is used in the Knowledge Born degree in the 1 of 40, when it says that servant who knew his Lord's will and prepared himself not, neither did according to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. This is something that the English colonies, and I read this in the narrative of Frederick Douglass, this is something that the English slave masters and the descendants of the English slave masters used to beat the black man and woman into submission, to prepare themselves, to show them and justify why Christianity allowed slavery. This is what they used. We use it something somewhat different, but in places like in Cuba, you were able to still practice the Balo religion, or the Alagua, or because my father was Alagua and my mother was Balo. You know what I'm saying? And I came from those cultures. So what does Yoruba tell us was that the elements of nature were what Catholics call the saints. This is why I was able to be translated. So somebody like San Lázaro has I forgot his African
name
counterpart.
Oh.
Say it again.
No, I thought you said his name. I thought you said he had
he had an African counterpart.
Okay.
Like I think the Archangel Michael was I think he was I want to say Baal, but I don't know.
I was just belling with him about that, about the Yoruba culture, kind of lining up with the Catholic culture. That was a way of original people
Catholicism,
retaining the Yoruba culture or African culture by way of Catholicism. That was their way of having it survive.
They were able to integrate it. They were able to be like, oh, this sounds like this. Because, like, in reality, God, if we're going to take it to the root of it all, those biblical saints were actually stories of the stars. When it talks about the 12 disciples, it's talking about the 12 zodiacs. When it talks about, like certain things, and we understood that. Because the Yoruba culture is probably like a very... it's a very descended version of the Medu Neter, because what is the Medu Neter translated? Many people be like, yeah, that's the book of the god. That's what it means, the book of the gods, right? But literally, it translates to the book of the elements, the book of elements. That's what Neter means, or Nature, however you pronounce it. I don't fucking know, but that word actually means elements. It doesn't mean gods, but people translate it today as gods because they didn't see the difference between what they considered the elements meaning earth, wind, fire, water, wood, metal, shit like that, to the deities that we know of, because the deities had certain characteristics. The deities of ancient Africa, the deities of ancient Asia, these deities had certain characteristics that were godlike. So we called them, they were the elements. So when Yoruba practiced it, they were like, the rocks were the saints. The rocks, what is a rock? A rock is it's the earth element, the element of the earth. You know what I'm saying? I remember my mom giving fruits to the rock and giving it water, and then there would be a candle. All the elements was there. And I understood it, like I understand it now a lot different than I understood it as a child, because now that I got knowledge of myself, and now that I got knowledge of this information, I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking crazy, yo. You know what I mean? You'll find the parallel stories of many saints in Catholicism with many of these elemental beings in Yoruba. And the reason why is because they come from the same source. They come from what ancient chemical, the metal nature, which is the book of the elements. And what is the book of the elements? The book of the elements is just basically a book of life. It's a book about the earth. That's all it is. It's nothing different. You know what I mean? One of the reasons why you'll find astronomical parallels in ancient Kemet with like the constellation of Orion or the Sphinx aligning with the constellation of Leo, and then you go all the way to fucking Mexico and you're like, yo, these dudes are doing the same fucking thing. They're aligning the constellation of Orion. You go to Nazca, Peru, right, where these big ass geoglyphs are on the floor, and they're like, yo, this thing aligns with the constellation of Orion. Like, how the fuck? These motherfuckers allegedly never spoke to each other, man. You know what I mean? You go to Bolivia, right? There's a city called Tiwanaku. Tiwanaku has this fucking pillar with, it looks like yo, God, I swear if I showed you a picture of it, you'd be like, yo, is that's Egyptian, right? And I'd be like, nah, God, that's fucking actually ancient Inca. And you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, man. I'm like, holy shit, yes. They have fucking parallels. Why are they parallel? Because they all come from the same source. What's the same source? The sun, moon, and stars. That's it. They wrote stories of the stars and they put it in mythological form. And then those mythological forms were translated into what we know as the Bible today. Right? Because what does Bible stand for according to some people? It says basic instructions before leaving Earth. Right? Metal nature, the book of the elements. What's an element? The life source of the earth. Same thing. It's fucking rooted in the same idea and the same ideology. It just came in different forms, and then fucking through translation, as usual, the shit gets fucked up. Because when I play a game of telephone with a motherfucker, if I got 20 people down the line and I say, yo, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? By the time it gets to the 20th person, that shit is gonna be like, Harry wanted to go to the store to get a car? What? How the fuck did that happen? Like, that's not even what I said.
The game of telephone.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens in translation throughout history. But because we dealing with the understanding, you know what I mean? I always say truth comes in many different forms, man. It does. It really does. And what I love about the form that we got it is, in my opinion, it's the most belligerent, blatant, in-your-face form. Like the first thing we don't learn this shit in veils and secrets and fucking rituals. We don't do that. The first thing you fucking learn is the original man is the Asiatic black man. That's the maker, the owner, the creator of the planet Earth, father, civilization, God of the universe. But like, god damn, you just fucking dropped a bomb on me. I didn't even have to fucking pay for these. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's what separates us from, like, listen, you go and you speak to let's say a Taoist, right? Somebody who practices the Tao, the yin and the yang principles. Their philosophy is, I want to learn how to become an immortal. What the fuck is an immortal? An immortal's a god, right? One of the only reasons why I know about this, and I think I told you this, Mega, in one of our conversations. When I studied in India back in 2006, I lived there for like 4 months. And I remember speaking with this guy who was a Buddhist. At that time, I was already a fucking 5%er. Now it's 120. I'm fucking hardcore 5%, right? But I'm being exposed to a different world. And I'm like, wow, this is fucking amazing, because everything that I feel like I learned in my lessons is here. And this shit is fucking bananas. It's bonkers. So I'm speaking to this Buddhist guy. This Buddhist guy is just building. I'm listening to him. And I remember asking him a question, because he was like, you know, the idea of Buddha is obtaining the enlightenment, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, what if I were to tell you that I'm a god? And he was like, that's easy to be a god. Try being a Buddha. And when he said that, for some apparent reason, like, a level of fucking understanding came to my fucking mentality that I'm like, holy shit, here I am speaking a language, because God is not an Indian word. Here I am saying the word God, and they have a completely different idea of what I just fucking said, using a word. But we're speaking English. He speaks English. That man speaks English. They were colonized by the English. But because of their Indian cultural background that goes back fucking thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, it was like, yeah, it's easy to be a god. Try being a Buddha. I was like, damn, dude, I would never conceive that idea if I didn't have this conversation with you. I never even fucking put one and two together to like, because I'm using a different language, man. Because we know and understand Buddhism in the 10th degree, right? And it's being 35,000 years old, and then we look at the word Buddha, and you know the word Buddha means something. It means to become enlightened. But then if you study the concepts of what it is to be an enlightened person, and you're like, damn, dude, you study things like the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and you're like, damn, man, I don't come from this world, man. I don't come from the Four Noble Truths. I don't come from the Eightfold Path. You know what I'm saying? I come from a different world. I come from a colonized world. I don't speak my original tongue. Here I am speaking English to you. I'm not from fucking England. Even when I'm translating shit into Spanish, I'm not from Spain. Right. These languages come from countries that we're not from. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, the God born king mathematics, right? Up in Canada.
Yep.
He was like, yo, God, do me a favor, connect me with the brothers out of Mexico because I got a group of fucking people in Montreal who are translating Supreme Mathematics in French. I was like, holy shit. It's fucking amazing. Amazing. Think about that. He's in Montreal, but they speak French, God. Are they from France? No. Another fucking issue. Go to Brazil. Like, I remember who was the one that was telling me. The brother from Colombia, right? He was like, yo, I'm building with these brothers in fucking Portugal, but we're having a language barrier because I don't speak Portuguese. Right? They don't speak Portuguese, God. In Brazil. That's not Portugal. Right? So the point that I'm trying to make is that here in this side of the world, we're speaking a language that is from colonized people, from colonizers rather, excuse me. And we're here trying to fucking translate truth. But we're speaking it in a language that is constantly causing us to fight and kill one another over some dumb shit. Because we're not understanding, the language is what's fucking everything up. Why did we run Yaqub and his main devil across the root of civilization, across the outer Arabian desert into the caves of West Asia? They now call it Europe. What did the devil bring with him? He brought his own what? Fucking language, man. And every single time we come together as a fucking nation and as a cipher, what is causing us from coming together and fucking really building a nation like we're supposed to?
Translations and interpretations.
The fucking language, man. We still over here now fucking, I seen a God in this nation, I'm not going to say his name, argue with a brother on 125th Street over the word brother and Alite. I'm not going to call him my brother, but I'll call him my Alite. Come on, God.
That sounds so silly.
That sounds silly.
That's my point, though, God.
Yeah.
That's my point. It's like we get into linguistic arguments. So when people are like, yo, you can't have refinement in your math. I'm like, yo, dude, you just don't get it. Like, it's a concept. It's an ideal. Who gives a fuck if you do or don't have it? Are you practicing it? That's it. That's all that matters. Power is only 5 because we speak English. If I say it in Spanish, it's for that. But the concept of the idea that it's the 5th principle because it's based on your ability to cause an effect and produce change. That's why it's the 5th principle. Because you can't change it from the fucking very beginning. You have to know it first. Then you need to apply it. Then you need to see it for what it is, not what it appears to be, so that you can live it. Then once you live it, then you can fucking bring about change. And you're so busy caught up in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, freedom, power, refinement. No, it's not culture, freedom, it's only culture. Yo, you fucking missed the point. You missed it a long time ago. I don't even know how the fuck you got this. Like, it's clear as day to me. I know it's clear as day to Mecca. I know it's clear as day to Sunyas. Because we deal with the understanding, we're not caught up in language. Because if we're too busy caught up in language, if Mecca was too busy caught up in language, there'd be no fucking Allah School of Mecca YouTube channel right now. Straight the fuck up.
Right.
It wouldn't happen because you would be like, no, I don't feel comfortable calling it Allah School of Mecca. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know what I mean? If we were too busy fucking caught up in language and fucking beefing over some, come on, man. We need to rise above this shit a lot better. We got to do a much better job, man. Because Because right now we getting our asses handed to us in the public arena in social media by these fake ass, fucking Hebrew Israelites, Nuwapians. Like they doing numbers on us. You know why? Because every time we try to come together and be like, yo, let's build, you get like 10 gods, I'll get like 10 Hebrew Israelites. You know what's going on? All the Hebrew Israelites agree with each other. You know what's happening in the God cipher? Arguing amongst ourselves. In the middle of arguing against them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
You don't believe me? Ask Freedom. Ask Minister Freedom what happened when he fucking jumped on it. And I told him straight up, don't do it, God. He was like, yo, God, would you like to be a part? I was like, hell no.
I told him, no, don't do it too. I was doing the knowledge to it, but he later learned.
Yeah, no. Listen, Freedom, Minister Freedom, that's a fucking soldier right there. That's the general. He calls me, I pick up in a heartbeat. He's like, yo, boom, you tell me what you do, I got you, God. You a fucking general. I'm gonna fucking follow you because I know and understand.
Want some water, God?
I'm following myself. You know what I mean?
Oh, you want some more juice?
I'll take some more juice.
But with that one, I was like, nah, God, don't do it. Don't do it. Listen to your brother, man. Listen to your big brother, man. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Because I knew what was going to happen. And exactly what I said was going to happen, happened. The gods were arguing amongst themselves while the Hebrew Israelites were arguing with the gods. So we not only had to fight against them and their fucking silly-ass ideologies, we was too busy fighting against each other because we have too many different ideologies amongst each other.
Right.
We have too many different fucking ideas that are running amongst us that we just take jabs at each other unnecessarily. We unnecessarily take jabs against each other. We don't need to do that, man. There's only listen. In the Mexico cipher, there's a division. There's actually a division in the Mexico cipher, and I'm like, yo, you know what, man? Y'all need to stop that. Y'all need to cut the bullshit because it's petty. I'm like, there's only 5% of us. It's not that many, man. You know what I mean? We had a parliament, God, in the middle of what is called the Templo Mayor. A Templo Mayor is on the bottom of the largest Catholic church, and I think in Latin America. It's right there in Mexico City, right? And then in front of the Catholic church is the plaza where they have most of these events where people come and publicly speak and et cetera, et cetera. So the day that we had our parliament over there was, I believe the Socialist Party was having a protest in front of at the plaza. Meanwhile, we were having our parliament on the side. Like, the turnout was insane. There was fucking mad people there for the Socialist Party. And meanwhile, in our cipher, we wasn't small, but compared to that plaza that was packed to the brim, God, we only had like at less than 20 people, and the plaza was packed. Imagine a law school in Mecca and the Harriet Tubman School, and that is not fucking big enough. And the projects. Imagine all that. Imagine all 126th, 125th, and 127th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. All of that shit. And I'm probably fucking understating it because that's how big the plaza was. All that shit was filled with the Socialist Party.
Wow.
And we only had 20 people. 20 people. And I'm looking around and I'm like, yo, y'all need to stop the bullshit, man. Y'all over here fucking, there's only 20 of us, my man. What the fuck are you fucking arguing about? Are you fucking kidding me? Yo, God, if we take every single fucking person in this nation, right, and we go to Washington and we march, right? Let's say we all go to the Million Man March, and all the guards come through, but then all the 85ers come through. Who's gonna outnumber who? The guards or the 85ers?
85, of course.
Right, and then what if the guards are fucking arguing against each other while the 85ers is organized? Do you know how that looks?
Horrible. Horrible. That's why, there's only 5% of the 5%.
Yo, that's always been my frustration, God, that we don't need that shit. There's too little of us for us to be constantly doing that with each other. But I understand different personalities and different identities can clash.
And personality worships.
But you can if you can go to work. I don't know if you have a job. I have a job, and and I don't know if you have a job, Sun God, but if you go to a job, there's people at your job that you can't fucking stand, but you go to work every day, right?
Yup.
You know what I'm saying? You get the job done every day, right? But you can't do that in this nation. Listen, I know there's people in this nation I can't fucking stand. But guess what? Let that person be like, yo, listen, I got an idea, and this is what I'm moving forward with. All right, yo, that's the God. I'm backing him the fuck up. He pisses me the fuck off. I can't. It's something about his personality. Maybe he just talks a certain way that I just can't stand. But he's getting the job done. Yo, I can say that about myself, God. I can comfortably say that about myself because I've done that. Because I've put my differences aside and I've been like, yo, that's the God. He started a class. I don't like the God, but this ain't personal. You know what I'm saying? And we can have our conversations. We can have, yo, it's like I want to tell you stories, but I don't want to incriminate. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we just come together with those non-power refinement motherfuckers and just be like, all right, God, that's great. That's how you got it. It's amazing. This is how this brother got it. You know what I mean? And I got it from him.
There's a lot of personality worship, God. You know what I mean? And that's always going to be, man. You know, like the piece with the magnetic attracts the piece without. So there's always going to be that. You know, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? And you know, but it just matter of us just coming together with those of a like mind and building those ciphers. You know what I'm saying? Because the cipher at large, you know, is great, but it's not functional on a level where you know. You have to have these smaller ciphers. You know what I'm saying? You have to have different things to actually get things done because, you know, the cipher as at large would be a bit clumsy. You see what I'm saying? Because it's too much and it's too much to handle all at one time. So it's better to have individual ciphers. You know what I mean?
No, I'm a firm agreeer of that after being in this nation and know and understand that everybody has a certain personality that flocks to a like-minded personalities, and that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? The only issue that I have is when those personalities try to look down upon the other group's personalities. But it's like, yo, it's okay to have, like, it's okay for you to be over there, and I'm gonna be over there. Like, you know how it is, God. You go to a parliament, who's across the street, and who's inside the parliament? Usually, the motherfuckers across the street are the ones dibbling and dabbling in some alcohol or some equality. You know what I mean? And they don't go in the parliament out of respect. You know? But it's okay. Why do we have to have like, yo, maybe this parliament, maybe last parliament I wanted to act like holy guacamole and shit. But this parliament, I want to be across the street with them brothers and I want to share a fucking beer with them. Maybe I want to fucking share, you know, some equals with them and shit, man. Maybe I just want to do it like that, you know? And that's okay. We don't need to be looking down upon each other, man. There's only 5% of us. It's not that much. I promise you it's not that much. And we have to learn, and I don't know, I don't have the answer for this, and I don't want to pretend like I do. But we have to learn how to come together with people that we disagree with in this nation and not to be so goddamn disagreeable. And just allow time, because today's mathematics is equality. And equality is based on the principle of time. Because time is the truth that I master equally. And I can't master that equally if I'm not dealing with the truth in myself first. And if I'm dealing with the truth in myself, then I can deal with the truth in you. Because if you're dealing with the truth in yourself. Because the truth that I master equally is the reality of me being the true and living God. Ain't no mystery God. So if you can bear witness to that shit within yourself, and I bear witness to that shit within myself, then I need to see myself in you. I need to see that there are lessons that I need to learn about myself through you and your personality. Because this is, we all come from one mind. We're just different entities of that one mind.
Right.
That's how I see it, God. That's my understanding. That's how I see it. I see that Allah is one, but it also says all for a reason. Because we all Allah.
No, that's right.
But we all one mind. Like, it's just different. You know, like, I'm infinite mind, but you infinite mega. Like, you infinite.
I'm Allah.
I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know if you got another name to
God, my name is Allah Infinite. But I just
okay, Allah Infinite, there it is.
yeah,
So,
Allah
you know,
Infinite.
so you my Allah Infinite, you my version of me being Allah Infinite. I know how to stay quiet when Allah Infinite speaks, because that's me. He's doing what I need to do in that body. I'm doing what I need to do in that body, just like you're doing what you need to do in this body. But like, yo, Inf is down there in Miami and South Florida. He's handling the shit that's what I would be doing down there, but he's doing it that way because that's him. You know, that's how I see it. Just like Sun God is Sun God and Pilon. You know what I mean? I see. Hey, that's what A alike mean to me. A alike means one mind.
Yeah, like mine, right?
That's what we going through in our different form. And C alike is because we come from that one mind. We all bear witness to that one reality.
Well, God, we are developing, because the poor part is the part where the knowledge and wisdom is lacking. So, you know, we get into that. You know what I'm saying? We developing that, and it is a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like you know, when I deal with, you know, that degree, like the poor part, God, like I know that you know, I care. I mean, this says he didn't care, but I care. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so when it comes down to it, it's a matter of caring to develop that poor part into the best part. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But look, Lord, I got to travel, God, because and I'm actually in the guard's rest right now, and
Okay.
I know he's about, you know, about to get back.
You gonna freeze your ass off, man.
Nah, it's actually nice out here. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I had to open the window because the guard was sweating up in here.
Yeah,
Because you come from Pelon, where the boilers come from the 19th.
Yeah, this building is over 100 years old, God.
Yeah.
Calefacción, son. That's the fucking
Yes,
Because if you accidentally walk into that shit, you got a tattoo.
Right. I mean, it ain't as nice. It's not as nice as where you at. You in, you know, you in the tropical. Miami.
Okay.
God, I'm in a t-shirt. God, I'm in a t-shirt right now.
He's in a t-shirt, right? Yeah.
I'll keep it in the buck with
you could go to the beach and get in the water.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, I definitely can.
Man, yeah. Don't style on us too much, man.
No, I'm not, because I'm gonna tell you what. One thing y'all have that I miss is the social equality. Out there is not like that. Down here is we don't really deal with it like that, you know. And I'm not saying it amongst the gods. It's just that one, everything is very far away, so you need to see a law rule, and two, it's just so different here culturally that I don't like when I'm up north, God. My mom is like, yo, I thought you came to visit me. Because I haven't seen you in like 3 days. Because I leave. I'm like, hey, I drop my bags off, give my mom a hug and a kiss. And next thing you know, I'm in Nawa. I'm down in fucking Chinatown. I'm down the block. I'm down. And my mom's like, yo, dude, I thought you came to visit me. Like, why do you, like, leave, like, all the time? Because, like, that's just what, I don't know. There's something about New York and always being socially everywhere. Where here is, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe one day you'll come down here, chill with me, and I'll try to explain it to you, and you'll see it for yourself.
Well, I do plan on getting down there. I do plan on getting down there, making that pilgrimage down there. So yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that, God.
All right, Jill, big. I'm gonna let you get home, man. I appreciate this phone call. Oh, before we leave, and I know you gotta go, Mega, real quick. Yo, Sun God, I hope I answered your questions, and you know, if you got any more questions, you know, take my math down, take my information down, and we'll build, God.
Okay, I'm gonna get your math from the God, Inf Mega, man, and I really enjoyed the build, God. That was peace.
Peace, God. I appreciate you, man. I definitely enjoyed. And I apologize for talking so goddamn much, man. I definitely want to hear.
Now you give it up. I appreciate you.
That's peace, God.
I appreciate you giving up, and I always enjoy our bells. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But we need to do it more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe next time we could do a Zoom call or something.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Let's draw that up, though. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate that. I did a little recording because you know I knew you was going to give it up, so I had to you know turn the camera on and record this. So this will go on the channel. We're gonna put this on the channel.
You already, man. Y'all, I hope y'all safe travels, God. I hope y'all have a good one, man. Enjoy yourselves and stay warm, man.
All right,
Peace.
Almighty. Enjoy your mathematics, Almighty. I'll be with you soon, God. Peace, God.
Peace to the God.
Peace.
Yeah.
I would like to say that at the end. Peace.
Yeah.
if Mecca did this.